Hey, whoa, what's going on there? We're live.
Yes, we are live indeed. 8 goodies to all of you Ramblemaniacs and BC aliens out there. And it goes a little something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, why the fuck is my shit? Oh, never mind. Okay, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Ramblemania Show product brings to you. I'm not the Ramblemania heavyweight champion still, but for some reason, someone else is going to grab it besides me. But I'm Hazel the iZombie, and I'm joined along with, as always,
That would be me. You're now current, reigning, defending, undisputed 14-time Ramblemania champion of all the multiverse. TJ the Great. TJ the Great, the TJ that remains, so to speak.
I don't want to look at that thing. It's sitting right next to the hardcore title, and it's like, why am I having this Spider-Man one? No, I don't want. Get away from me, Osborne. No. This is our Survivor Series WarGames / AEW Full Gear recap. We give you guys the whole thing on both shows, recapping all the matches that took place on WWE and in AEW. Because after this, I'm gone. You won't see me till like Tuesday for more Jason David Frank stuff. Oh no. Yeah, the fucking Turbo movie we have to do.
Yeah, this is Hazel's big wrestling send-off for the year.
Yeah. It's not a no, I'm not gonna say that stupid phrase because that just sounds stupid. I can't say goodbye or see you later because I'm still gonna sporadically come back when it's the pay-per-views, come Tuesday or come weekly TV. I just won't be back officially on the week after Wrestle Kingdom, which is Monday the 8th of January, which is when I'll be coming back doing all the weekly stuff. I don't know if these guys want to continue doing the weekly stuff in my absence. I know TJ's like, there ain't no way in hell. I'll play 2K if that's the case. I'll make that a Raw stream. Fuck that.
I already know. Y'all ready for some game streams?
Even if Punk is in WWE, these motherfuckers is still
we can find the Punk segments on like YouTube and watch those, and we'll do like watch alongs for those. But everything else, nah. But yeah, game streams otherwise. Yeah, ready? Young Wolf, what's going on?
What's going on, Young Wolf? But we will talk about the big news later that took place last night, as you all saw through all of our reactions and everything that we posted on social media. Yes, CM Punk is back, but we will get to that later. It is now time for us to sit here and talk about Full Gear. We feel like Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer because it takes this man a week to recap the show. We can't be doing that. I don't want to be doing Meltzer shit unless if it's rating matches. But
people be anticipating them stars. So
I know, but I can't be waiting a whole week for a man to be giving me some stars, bro. That means he has to watch them shits over and over and over and over until his retinas is melted to the point where he knows what he's gonna grade these matches.
You waiting for Dave to drop the stars like it's a mixtape. I'm telling you.
Before we go on, we don't even tell ourselves what matches we're gonna give. What it's off our heads. We're doing this off our heads. It's not like we're like predetermining all of this. Like, all right, we're making this one the 5-star match. Like this one is the match. No, this is all unpredictable. Just like how we fucked up entirely throughout this entire pay-per-view. Because if I still had the score, which I don't, because we had to do WarGames, we did terrible.
It's crazy. I did terrible on this show, and then just perfect score on Survivor Series. Like, I watch AEW every week.
It was like
all of it.
It was like after Double or Nothing. After that perfect score that I got there, it was like tie, and then this shit happens. It's the lowest score. It was probably one of the most unpredictable but most overly booked shows I've ever fucking saw.
We watch Rampage, for God's sake. Like, we in these AEW trenches. We watch all that shit. Dynamite, Collision, Rampage. And we did terrible here, man. Tony was in his unpredictable bag.
I think AEW Tony's back again. That's all I'm
going crazy.
That's all.
Young Wolf says 2K Raw stream would be dope. It would be. I agree. And he says, "Yeah, Punk is back. Blah blah blah. Raw is still a 3-hour show. That should torture be. That's exactly why.
But
We
look,
can watch
11
the Punk
matches.
segments, but nothing else.
11 matches on the card. Tony did pace out his match card a bit, but it was still a fucking 4-hour show for what it was. That's still the big issue. Like, yeah, 8 matches were the main card. Cool. We complained about this on Wrestle Dream, how he had to stop putting 10, 12 main matches on the fucking main card. Like, that's absurd. He cut it down to 8, but there's still that problem of it being a 4-hour event, and it still tires people the fuck out.
I generally agree, but I also think that this show didn't feel that long. It was
No,
4 hours, but yeah.
no, I said that. That's what I'm saying. Like the main card, which was 8 in total, was very well paced out for the minimum of matches that they had. Nothing felt rushed. Nothing felt like it was slowing down. It felt straight down the middle. It was very paced. It was very steadily paced, but it was also overly booked. And it still felt long because of the overly booked stuff. And they still kept presenting us the fucking package promos. I know you gotta still build up the match before the match officially starts, but it's like, we got that on. That's what we got the 0 hour for you to show those package promos. That way we can just jump straight to the matches once the main card begins. I understand you want to give time people to get a break, get a soda, get a beer, go take a piss or shit or whatever, but we were seeing these things earlier. Why do we need to see it again? That's the problem.
I get what you're saying, but I don't mind the pre-match video packages. Like that's just a standard thing in all combat sports, really. Like if you selling big matches as big fights, that's what you usually do for those.
So normally how we do these is just when it's a 0 hour, we're gonna rapid fire them. This is normally how we grade the matches. One is a who booked this shit. Oh god, I gotta be right back. My wife is about to go to sleep. Hold on. You tell them everything.
Yeah, so 1 star who booked this shit. 2 stars is a bat, as we like to say. 3 stars is a good. 4 stars is a bars. And 5 stars is a goat. That's how that works. And then above and beyond, Hazel likes to call that Meltzer shit, where you break the scale. 6 stars, 7 stars, whatever. I generally just I get 5 stars. Like if I think it was really that shit, it was 5 stars, and it could live in that upper echelon. But that's how it goes.
And then we got the Meltzer shit ratings, which is like 6 and up going forward.
That's what I was explaining, the Meltzer shit. Like me, I don't go Meltzer shit. I just 5. If it's goated, it's 5. Eddie Kingston match was dope. Lethal showed who he was. Facts. Get him away from Double J, bro. This tourney gonna let people know how good he is.
But let's get on with that match with the 0 hour with Eddie Kingston going up against Jay Lethal for the Ring of Honor World Title. It was 10 minutes 55 seconds. Go ahead, TJ, ramble on.
Yeah, I think part of that we're talking about is it's Eddie Kingston. You ain't got no choice but to show who you are when you wrestle Eddie Kingston, because Eddie Kingston, you don't accept no bullshit. So obviously, him and Lethal, the whole feud has been built on their history and all of that. And I thought this was a solid match. I thought this was a very good match to open up the 0 hour. Like, fuck. You could have I figured they were gonna do this on like a final battle, but I guess we'll see what Eddie's doing on final battle. Because we still don't know. But I thought this was good shit. I'm gonna give this a high good.
So 3.5.
Yes.
All right. So what? Back to what you were saying about what Eddie could be doing at final battle. It looks like nothing at this point, because how's he going to defend his Ring of Honor World Championship, knowing that that's just being defended in the Continental Classic along with his New Japan Strong Belt? So it's like,
well, they said the winner gets the title, so.
But yeah, that's what led to the whole big confusion of how this whole thing was explained. Eddie said he was going to defend his belts in the Continental Classic against whoever he was facing, but when we saw the media scrum, It was different. It was the New Japan, the Ring of Honor, and
Yeah,
now a
that's
new
what
belt
happened.
that
Eddie
AEW
said
presented.
my title's on the line every match, but then Tony came behind it and clarified, like, the winner of the tournament will be the champion. He will be the
Yes,
one that's the champion.
exactly.
But until then, Eddie is still, the active champion.
Exactly. I mean, I didn't hate the match. My biggest issue was the fact that, like, yeah, this probably should have been the match that could have been on Final Battle, but then again, we still didn't know if Eddie was gonna be in the Continental Classic until we found out on the main card that he was gonna be in it and shit. So it was like, oh damn, now it's like, what are we doing on the 15th of December now? Because need I remind you that the fucking finals of the pay-per-view is on the day of World's End, December 30th.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's all I can really say about the negative, but this was a pretty good hard hitting match. I mean, these two guys, they have history, and I like when they have their little history and shit. I mean, Jay Lethal, I'm not going to say he feels like he doesn't get enough, like, star time when he's with Jarrett and all those guys. It's like, I know he's better off on his own, but this is only something for him to do because he's friends with Jarrett and Sanjay, and he's just trying to get them on the spot, and that's cool. I still think maybe like Jay could be better off on his own, and I know he can. I still enjoyed the match. It was fun. I just wished maybe we could have gotten this more into Final Battle, but now with everything that's going on, that's probably my biggest issue. Is that we're getting nothing for Final Battle at this point. No world title, no nothing. So it still begs the question, like, what the fuck are we doing with Ring of Honor at this point?
It's the persistent issue with Ring of Honor TV.
The only positive that I could say that I saw throughout in this match and throughout all the matches, AEW upgraded on their title graphics.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they went, full on 3D virtual, well, not like virtual shit, but like cool 3D graphics, all that stuff for the belts, which I enjoyed. It gave me like some ruthless aggression vibes when I see the belts now in its newer form. And I'm like, nah, it shows a bit prestige, but it didn't show that much prestige here in the match. So I'm gonna give it a solid good.
Haseen, yes, Cyber Monday is tomorrow. Are you
Yes.
ready? I'm ready. Buy some things.
Claudio Castagnoli goes one-on-one with Buddy Matthews. This was 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Go ahead, TJ. Ramble on here.
Yes, Young Wolf's review is that it was good. Two hard hitting guys. Only thing was the crowd was chanting "Dirty Dom" and "We Want Mommy." That was annoying. But yeah, Buddy definitely heard that the crowd was rocking with him. Yeah, there was that unfortunate bit of Dirty Dom and Mommy and all that stuff. Like, man, can we not?
Yeah.
Can we not? Whole scaring behavior. But whatever.
It's wrestling fans, so it's like we just cheer for. It's not like AEW is gonna be like, oh, don't be chanting the other company opposition or any of the other stuff. We don't want that here toxic. But
It's
they
not
pay
even
paychecks, they can do
necessarily
whatever the hell
about the
they
fact
want.
that they're WWE people. It's just the fact that, oh yeah, let's chant it at him because his girlfriend is cheating on him on the other show. It's like, man, stop it, man, stop it.
It's like when I went to fucking Blood and Guts and Royal Rampage, motherfuckers were just chanting LA Knight, yeah.
Yeah. And like I guess that one is just one that's just gonna happen because he's so over now. Like I guess I'm gonna have to come around and accept that LA Knight is just like, yeah, it's gonna be a thing that happens at every
Yeah.
wrestling show. Yeah, it's yeah is the new woo. It's the new woo. So but yeah, Chan Dirty Dom at like Buddy Matthews is lame to me. But this match was fucking cool. I enjoyed this match. Buddy definitely has some support though in the crowd. They were definitely rocking with him against Claudio, who just I think low key underrated. I feel in the way he can play up to a crowd, whether they're like really rocking with him or really aren't rocking with him.
Yeah.
He can like turn on a dime. He's really good like that at reading a crowd. And that's years of working around the world, different types of crowds. But yeah, fun match. I thought like Claudio winning by submission. Good shit. I'm gonna give it a good and a half.
I really enjoyed this match. This was fun. Can we just get Claudio off the 0 hour? Like the fuck? Get that man off the 0 hour. He don't need to be on there. Like he like okay. When he did the match with Josh Barnett at Wrestle Dream, I was okay with it. But then you do it again here on the 0 hour with him. I'm like, bro, he's better in the main card than on the 0 hour. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing, but I can't hate on this match. This match was hard hitting as fuck. No doubt about it. These two were ready to go. I don't care what the fucking crowd was chanting. They could chant dirty dumb all they want. They could chant we want mommy, but at the end of the day, the only person that's winning out of all of us here is Mr. Buddy Matthews. So
That's true. Did you
he
see
ain't giving a
there last night
fuck.
in chaps?
He ain't
Jesus
giving a fuck.
Christ,
They were
buddy.
putting out lethal hits, and it's not just Buddy putting out aggression. Because this is how he is. He for a tiny guy like him, bro. Like this guy has a lot of pent up fucking aggression. Being in the House of Black just shows that like he was ready to just put a whipping on Claudio, but Claudio put a whipping back and had him submit. I think he passed out on the was it the sharpshooter or the fucking Boston Crab?
Yeah, sharpshooter.
Okay. So then he passed on now. I'm like, good. It still protects him because he didn't like technically submit. He didn't tap out or any of that other stuff. These two guys are pretty hard hitting. I'm giving this one a bars. We gotta stop putting Claudio on the fucking kickoff though.
I don't mind. I don't mind him being on the 0 hour. Like it's either. I mean, yes, it would be nice if we had like a match on the main card. But if he's not gonna be on the main card, then yeah, put him on the fucking 0 hour. Let him cook. You know it's gonna be a good match, Claudio. I'd rather a good match than anything over anything.
Final match on the 0 hour for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. MJF, Samoa Joe substituting for Adam Cole since he's injured as they take on the Guns, Austin and Colton Gunn. Match was won by submission. It was 9 minutes and 25 seconds. Guys, let's bring the 0 hour home so we get to the main card. And I wanna give something. I wanna go crazy here.
Yeah, so this was a solidly fun story match. It would have been nice on Ring of Honor TV, goddamn it. But not to be, I suppose. But otherwise, it was fun in that sense. This, I mean, if you want to talk about what a 0 hour match is, I guess this would be it. Fucking Joe was great as a baby face in the sense that he's on MJF's side and he's helping him out, but you know he pressing him and you know he's still a mean son of a bitch. He's still a killer. So, you know, Joe's always the man. MJF doing his basically his pre-show match routine before he goes on the main event. When all he shows he has 2 matches on the card now, he'll fuck around on the undercard match and then like go hard in the main event, and that's what he did here. And it worked out all fine. And then they did the fucking angle at the end, which we'll definitely talk about later because we got it right.
Yeah, we gotta.
But yeah, I guess it got the gun some heat, but again, we're gonna talk about it later. I'll give this match a good.
This is what started the overbooking process, and it was just. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think, like, despite Joe being there, he did his part and everything. I can't complain everything about what Joe does. He's still amazing. But when it came down to just the Guns, Bullet Club Gold, Juice Robinson being out of commission because he got injured, MJF and all that stuff with Adam Cole, that was a little fucking crazy. Like, yeah, Samoa Joe won the match, which is great. He didn't have to, MJF didn't have to do anything. He just had to sell his little, like, his actual injury. Oh my God. But again, this is the match that started the overbooking process throughout the fucking show. And when we get to the main event, it's also I'm giving this one a 2.5.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't sit here and tell. I mean, for a 0 hour match, yeah, it feels kind of useless that I'm giving something like this a 2.5. But still, it's like mid.
Man
Even
said this is where it begun.
even MJF was at his most mid here.
Damn.
Like that's just crazy. I find that to be crazy that MJF was at his most mid in this match. Oh, I don't want to be like because it's his gimmick and he's on the 0 hour because he's got to get ready for a big match. Fuck out of here. He's
Man, it is what it is.
great.
Deadline is the thing that's happening, I seen. We ain't watching it though.
And then you got the whole backstage stuff, him crying like a little bitch, being escorted into the truck, and it's like, Adam, don't let him take my title, don't let him take my title, Adam, no, Adam, don't let him take. I'm like, shut the fuck up, please.
It was an attempt was made. I'll say that much.
I'm like, my man, you sound like the girl that you had with you in the car before the accident happened.
Oh my god, chill. Yeah, I seen the tournament is still going on. The
It is
Continental
still
Classic.
going on, and it's not gonna be the end until next month on the 30th, which is like 5 weeks away. So we got plenty of time, and we're gonna see a couple of good matches in this round robin tournament. I don't know why people don't like the round robin stuff. Like it's good because not everything has to be elimination. A point system is always worth it.
I like point systems, but like wrestling fans reject this shit. Remember when TNA did the fucking Bound for Glory series?
But that's the thing. Like they were rejecting that shit too. But there were people that were actually on like, yo, I like the Bound for Glory series. Fuck
I
out of
did
here. You know,
too.
for a round robin tournament to determine who's going to
Yeah.
get a shot at the world title in the main event because you had nothing. You had nothing for Bound for Glory. The only thing that you had to do for Bound for Glory was build story. They never had a Royal Rumble. It's not like the reverse battle royal was ever going to be a thing, a yearly thing. It's like, oh,
Yeah, like
blah, blah, blah.
a round robin tournament was a thing that made sense. It was something that fucking other major, well, only WWE, well, WWE wasn't doing. Like the other major promotions weren't really doing. Like it was only the G1 that was really known as something like that. Like, damn, this was
Yeah.
cool.
This was cool. This was interesting. That's why I like the Bound for Glory series was
Who was it
mainly
that fucking
the
year ended up with fucking that year ended up with -10? Joe. He got DQ'd.
oh yeah. Oh my god. It's been such a while since I've last seen those. I gotta find those again. But with that being said, we go into the main card. We open up the show with the trios tag match. The patriarchy, which is being called now. I don't like the name. I would have liked Christian Coalition 2 or 2.0. But it is the TNT champion, Christian Cage. Before he was Kill Switch, still Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. No Nick Wayne's mom.
The
Taking
last
on
time
the
he was known as
team.
Luchasaurus.
Yeah,
Yes.
taking on the team of Sting, Darby Allin, Adam Copeland, accompanied to the ring by some old fuck. You know what was the best part about this match? This was not sponsored by Woo Energy Drink.
No. No, it's just
this
fucking dynamite.
this match was 15 minutes and 10 seconds. Go ahead, TJ. Let's ramble on the main show.
All right, let me hit. I seen 12 rounds through lockdown movie on WWE Films. You're watching it, Haseen?
Juggernaut was at
Juggernaut,
Survivor Series last night. Holy shit!
a Survivor Series. That must have been crazy. That
Oh
definitely
my
must have been
god, that
crazy. We're
must
gonna
have been.
talk about that a little later for
Yeah, we're
sure.
talking about
But
that
yeah,
later.
but I know that was crazy. But yeah, this match simple. Fun opener, story advancer. Darby, luckily, was the young dude willing to take the majority of the punishment so that the OG could thrive off aura and instinct because you know he crazy like that. Um, I'm still way down on Flair being here at all, but the way they involved him was fine. Um, Cope Sting was fun. Like everybody coming out with Sting face paint. Sting got to play the hits one more time in California. And the main story of the match was building up Cope and Christian Cage and teasing that they were gonna fight, and they never actually did. They never
Are you
touched.
really sure about that? Are you sure that was what that story was all about? I think you're missing one main ingredient to this story that's way
What?
more important than Cage and Copeland.
What?
Hey, yo, this is Sting's last fucking night in California.
Yeah, like I said, Sting got to play the hits one more time in California, and then he was crazy over, of course. Peoples was out there. They showed him love. But that's what I'm saying. The main part, other than that, was between Cope and Christian. And they never touched. And I'm giving this a solid good.
So AEW New Japan now, just because it's pay-per-view, is okay to just drop all these fucking F-bombs. Like Darby Allin just dropped like 2 F-bombs in one sentence. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But
Yeah, it's that real shit. Drop them on
honestly,
pay per view.
honestly, the whole entire show was just an F-bomb. Like it was just a cavalcade of fucks. That's what it was. This match was good. I can't I I can't hate it. The only negative that I'm just gonna say was stop having this man do spots. Stop having him take dick punches. Stop having him do chops. Stop telling this man to take a bump for a paycheck. Leave the old man alone. Cause
You're gonna do anything with him, yeah, let him get hit in the dick. That's fine.
all you're doing is telling this man, hey Rick, you think you got one more in you?
No, he does
Bro,
not.
Punk came back. Anything can happen in pro wrestling now.
That's
At this
different.
point, no, nothing's different. Nothing's different because we saw this man's last match, and I said the same thing. Anything can happen, right?
Listen,
We didn't
Flair's
ask
not
for this.
wrestling in AEW.
We didn't ask for it, but it happened. You don't
CM
think it's
Punk
gonna happen
coming back
again?
while it's crazy, it's wrestling. It makes sense. That don't make no sense. God damn it.
So then again, if it doesn't make sense, why are we signing this man for 3 years? For corporate shill of his energy drink? You might as well
It,
just promote his fucking weed.
again, none of it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense.
I feel like at this point, Ric Flair is a mole for Paul Levesque. Is like, Hunter, woo! These guys are fighting, woo! They're not listening to me, woo! There's no management here, woo! Tony's going on the coke.
Listen, that's not Ric
Look,
Flair. If Triple H wanted to send a mole at AEW, it wouldn't be Ric Flair.
they're best friends, so they're like they
He
stick with
said
each other
Triple
to
H
the end.
wasn't fucking talking to him.
Man, they could say that just for show. I mean, come on, Regal could have been the same thing, and he was there for less than a year, and he said, "I'm out."
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? That's what I'm wondering.
At this point, that's just me right now. Young will basically read my mind. That's me every time I see Ric Flair. Like, how many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? Like, stop showing up on my TV. Do commercials. Do whatever the fuck you want, but stop showing up on a 2-hour show that I don't want you to be a part of.
It would be nice if he went away.
It's a solid good. I'm giving the match a solid good because yes, there was no altercation between Adam Copeland and Christian. They're gonna save it for World's End because from what I was watching Saturday before I deleted the footage because I was too fucking exhausted. They are going to have him and Cage for the TNT title at fucking World's End, and I'm calling it right now. Nick Wayne's mom is gonna fuck Christian Cage and join her son in the Christian Coalition 2.0. And they're gonna be one big happy. They're gonna be better than the Way.
You mean fuck over Adam Copeland?
Well, yeah, I mean, she just watched her son get concertoed by this man. You don't think
Yeah.
that there's an
She's
obvious
definitely
choice?
She's joining Christian. Yeah, I agree for sure.
Like she's finally gonna let Christian smash, knowing that this man is married.
Yo, that's crazy. She got that Christian smash. That's
I'm giving
crazy.
this match is getting a good. Only funny thing I can say about it was seeing Adam. I hate saying his real name now because it doesn't feel right to me. I've always known him as Edge, but seeing him with the half paint on his face is like watching the I like turtles kid 30 years later grown
I
the
like
fuck up.
turtles.
because it's not Darby anymore. It's Adam now with the fucking face paint. But it was nice to see him and Sting, finally have that team up, because holy shit, when are we ever gonna have that moment where Sting and Adam Copeland join forces? When are we ever gonna get that? We're never gonna get that, and we got it now.
That's true. That's true. First time, only time, maybe. Shit.
We might get a few more in the occasion, because I feel like at this point, this is what I'm looking at before Scott Steiner fucking interrupts me and shit. When Sting leaves, I think Adam is going to take Sting's place as the father figure to Darby.
That makes sense.
I feel like, because do you not remember when he came on the Wrestle Dream Media Scrum and he was telling like his story in Seattle? It's like, hey Darby, I got this card. Any good spots? We film this shit, drive it around. And he's like, I think there's gonna be a good, wholesome like friendship and alliance between these two once Sting is gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm giving this match a good, solid good. Orange Cassidy defends the AEW International Championship against Jon Moxley. This is their second encounter. This was 12 minutes and 5 seconds. Go ahead, TJ, rumble
on. Orange and Mox. My goodness. So, I think this match has an issue of needing a result that served the story being told, but the potential intriguing story paths are better served with the opposite result, at least on its face. Meaning the story here was Orange Cassidy finally getting, the monkey of Jon Moxley off his back, and in his eyes, truly earning the international title back. Because he kept saying the whole time, like, yeah, I got the title back, but I didn't beat Mox for it. I got to beat Mox to truly, be the champion again. So he finally did.
Did Orange Cassidy become Roman Reigns because he gave Jon Moxley 6 orange punches?
Yeah, he did.
Bro, Roman Reigns just needs 1 to beat someone. It took 6. I think that was well enough to protect Moxley as it is. It didn't fucking like ruin his character.
He had to murder him to take him out, basically.
I think that's what Moxley wanted.
Yeah, and I think the issue though is I think people had more or less made peace with Orange losing the title to Mox after being AEW's best champion for so long. He was the man for a fucking year with the international title. So to have that story seemingly end and then come right back to him so soon, I get why that's jarring. Especially because it seemed like there was a lot more interesting stuff out there for Mox being international champion. Because again, Orange just spent a year wrestling and beating a bunch of different people for that title. So, there's less opponents for Orange as opposed to Mox.
Yes.
So I get the quandary there. But all that aside, this match was great. I thought it was great. Orange's fire was excellent. I thought Mox being just this big bloody beast that wouldn't go down, that made Orange had to deep into the deepest recesses of his soul to beat this man. Yeah. It made it satisfying. Like the crowd was going crazy, going back and forth between both guys. Like I enjoyed this a lot. I think the first match was still a little bit better, but this still went hard. I'm giving this bars.
I mean, like their first match, because it was better because they main evented. That was All Out Chicago, so they didn't have the world title on the line there. So they figured, okay, maybe this will be the perfect opportunity to utilize the international championship, grow it to get its prestige, and why not do that? Have it be on the main event. Mox wins, but then again, the same ballet. Nobody's perfect. Shit happens. Everybody gets injured. Everybody gets concussed. I wasn't mad that it went back to Orange because I was telling myself, all right, we're going to get the rematch, and that means it's going to go back to Mox, and we're going to actually start the reign. We're going to start this reign with Mox that we were supposed to get the first time that he held onto the belt. And then the match was over. And then it was basically back to Orange again. And I'm just like, the fuck? I didn't hate the match. I'm not hating on it. It was still good. I'm still not better than the last encounter. I'll say that, because if you're the second match on the card after you were the main event months ago, I mean, that's a bad sign right there. That
I mean, I don't even
the,
think it's that. I just think there was just a different era around their first match. It was
that
different.
too, that too. But there was a lot of there was also some errors within going into this match with Moxley not being 100%, or also Orange not being 100% as well, and they still went in there. They did their stuff. They went at it, and again, I'm not hating on the outcome. I just feel like the wrong person won here, because what are we going to do with Orange now that he's the international champion? Have him hold on to it for even longer than he had it before? Have rematches with the guys that he faced before that challenged him for that belt and win again? Like, I don't want Orange's character to diminish because of this international title. And I think getting him off that belt was a breath of fresh air. And then they give it back to him. And then he retained. I don't want to see his character get diminished, because he has a genuine character that everyone would like. But if we keep him with that international title for long, I think it's going to hurt him in the long run. I'm still going to give the match a good. I was going to give it a 2.5, honestly, because, again, the wrong person won here. But I kind of agree with everything you said, because this whole thing was absolutely jarring. Like, I don't know how the crowd took it at the end with Orange winning. Like, the crowd was hot throughout the match. There was blood. I mean, with Moxie, you're gonna get the blood. It had some heartfelt moments. It was just the end. Everyone was just like, okay. And we all went for Mox. I need to remind you guys, everybody that was predicting this match, everybody went for Mox. It's not like we didn't give a shit about Orange. It felt like the obvious choice if we were going to continue Mox's reign as international champion. Solid good. Timeless Tony Storm goes against Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's World Championship. This was 10 minutes and 25 seconds. Oh, wait. Yeah, the international time match was 12 minutes and 5 seconds. This is 10 minutes 25, the women's match. So go ahead, ramble on.
Timeless Tony Storm is great. I very much enjoy her. And I definitely enjoy the character work that she's doing in her matches. But I think there's a sliding balance of like gimmick and action that you should always maintain in a match. And I think this one leaned too much on gimmick. Like, Tony winning wouldn't be my choice. Because I think she's better off without the title, because her whole character was she went crazy without the title. So
Yeah.
I mean, but I understand the idea of striking while the iron's hot. The character got really over, so whatever, put the belt back on it. But there's got to be a better way than obviously visible pan on the yams. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you gotta ask yourself, now that she won the belt, is she still gonna be crazy? Is she still gonna have this midlife crisis now that she's the champion? Because this is how the character started. This is the female Matt Hardy, except with Marilyn Monroe mixed with Lana Del Rey, which I like to compare her as, just in her own 1930s style Hollywood fashion type shit.
But now the problem is the character's over, so you don't end the character now that she's the champion.
Exactly, but.
Yeah.
Are we still? That's the question. Like, you're not gonna end the character, but are we still gonna have her still deal with this fucking midlife crisis of hers?
Yeah. I
She's the
guess now
champion
the
now.
thing is, they're gonna build the whatever they're doing with Mariah May, the Mariah May story. Jesus, I can't say that fine young lady's name. God damn, man.
New York traffic is crazy tonight, huh?
I know it's raining outside. Go home, shit.
All right, go homie, young about it. Oh my god, I can't wait to talk about that.
But yeah, man, visible pen on the yams. Never mind her and Luther doing all the other goofy shenanigans they were doing. Like, dial it back a little bit, all right? Dial it back some, Tony. Like, Tony Storm is a good enough wrestler to where she doesn't have to completely rely on that type of stuff. Like, I'm not saying don't do it at all, but you don't have to completely rely on that. So I'm gonna give this a high bat, 2.5.
Mid.
Cheer.
So I don't know if it's me, but I feel like why are we not giving these Joshi girls their praises and shit? Like, I get it, Hikaru is a 3-time women's champion, great accolade. But why is it that like when it's time for a big championship defense, they always drop the ball and like give the title to someone else? When it was All In, gave it to Saraya. She won it back. Now it's here. She loses it. I'm like, yo, this is pissing me the fuck off because I respect Joshi wrestling, and I don't think Tony Khan respects it that much. I honestly do not think so. And this was a prime example of it. Like, this was a Joshi match. I need to remind people that, hey, Tony Storm started her career in Joshi with fucking Stardom and all that shit. She's probably had matches with Hikaru Shida before, but this was not one of those. This was not one of them. This gimmick is way too showy. It's too showboaty. Honestly, like she's becoming more of a show woman than a wrestler, and it's looking.
I think I don't know if it's.
Mediocre.
I was gonna say I don't know if it's a thing of Tony not respecting the Joshis as much as if it's a thing of Tony trying to serve so many different masters, which we're going to talk about later. Trying to serve so many different masters and seeing that Tony got over and just deciding to shift to her. And it was the same thing as All In, like, oh, we're in Saraya's hometown. We got to shift to her. Like, it's an issue of him shifting on different whims. I think that's what it is.
And then, the top it all off, like, I know a lot of people complain about Aubrey Edwards' refereeing style, how she's very animated, how she likes to make herself the center of attention, all that stuff when she does her outrageous reactions.
I've never seen that.
I mean, that's people saying that.
No, I know people say that, but I've never seen her do that, is what I mean.
But this is my thing. If you're a referee and you know there's a spot coming and you see, I'm not saying that Aubrey Edwards is blind. But there were moments where she definitely saw that cookie sheet on Tony's ass. Like, I was looking at that. I watched this match at least a multiple of 10 times. And I'm looking at Aubrey, looking at Tony's ass and this cookie sheet. And it's like, you peeped it 7 times and you're going to tell me you're not going to stop the fucking match because you need to pretend like you didn't see it?
She has to pretend that she don't see it. And it's like, that makes her look bad. It's bad. You
the match just
got to come with a better idea than that.
And that was the thing. You lost everybody the minute that spot happened because it's like everyone's even realizing, like, yo, the ref, you mean to tell me the ref didn't? Come on. It's obvious. Like, I get it. In this business, the ref is basically supposed to play it out like nothing's going on. But my nigga, what I learned from this business is the ref got to call shit like a fucking shoot, right? You see that shit, call it like a fucking shoot, you dick.
But then they got to redo, you know what I'm saying? They got to redo the finish and all that. Like, it's fucked up. It's bad situation.
You could still redo the finish. It just looked sloppy because it was exposed. It was literally exposed. And it lost me. It lost the fucking crowd. Like, again, I need to remind people, I was at a show. I had to do stuff. So I was not live when all of this shit was happening. I only came back for a certain match that we're going to talk about pretty soon. Okay? But when I saw this, I wasn't mad. I wasn't upset. I was dumbfounded by how they just let that played out. And it was horrible. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's like one of the creepers punching Dustin Rhodes with those fucking like air punches and shit. That's what it was. I'm like, this was weak booking. This was absolute weak booking, and this whole thing was botched just by that ending spot. It was bad. It was bad.
Well, if you let the intrusive thoughts win, my brother.
Look, I'm like, even if there was a frying pan tucked in her ass, I'm not letting intrusive thoughts win over the fact that the match is still mid. It gets a solid bad. Honestly, I think this was the worst match in Full Gear so far.
Yeah, probably.
Fatal 4-way ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Ricky Starks and Big Bill defending against La Pasión Ingobernable of Rus, Jalisco, with Jose the Assistant and Preston Vance, FTR of Cash Wheeler and Dax the Axe or Dax Harwood, whatever the fuck he wants to call himself now.
Dax Hardwood.
Hardwood. Oh my god. And the Kings of the Black Throne, representing the House of Black, which is Malachi Black and Brody King. This was 20 minutes and 35 seconds. Go ahead, TJ, ramble on.
Yo, this shit was sick. I ain't gonna lie. The mark in me says Drilistico and Rue should have won. Solely because they were out there on a different type of time. My God, they were going crazy. And that's to say nothing against the other three teams who also all showed up and went crazy. Like I always say, it's hard to make modern ladder matches stand out because of all the crazy stuff that's been done. But this was a strong one, like in terms of spots, pacing, everything. Like some of these spots were fucking insane. It was like not necessarily reinventing the wheel type shit, but just the way they were done, the way they were executed, like top tier shit. This gets straight up bars.
I love the carnage. It was executed very well here. Very well. I love the bloodlust that happened, especially how many times do we have to see Brody King with face paint and all of that just ends up covered in blood?
A beast. That man is a beast.
These motherfuckers brought this shit up to 11. And I always like multi-man ladder matches because not everything has to be a crazy spot monkey type bullshit. You could just put on the fucking crash car derby type matches here, and they gave us that. I was just, my heart literally popped out of my chest when that Gonzo bomb fucking came out of nowhere. Like, Jesus, Drilistico was dead. He was fucking dead.
Moided.
If there's one thing that I'm gonna say though, I need to give Big Bill his fucking flowers. Gotta give that man his flowers now. Remember all these years ago how we went from talking shit about this man and Enzo showing up at the Supercard of Honor and how we were telling him to get the fuck out of the garden?
What a crazy time.
To now, like, him and AEW finally getting the role that he deserves to be in with Ricky, after, multiple visits to the hospital, health problems, rehab, shit with Carmella, all that shit, the drinking and whatnot. He got himself back in shape and he got himself a second chance in life, and he took that second chance to Wise, and look at where he's at. He's a tag team champion with the Absolute, man.
They're doing great.
This is his first championship run ever in his entire wrestling career.
Right? Him and Enzo never won one.
They never won one. It was one of those moments where we were telling ourselves, they could have won the tag team belts in WWE, whether NXT or Raw. I don't know about SmackDown, but still, they could have ended up being tag team champions. Yeah. But, with all the shit that was going on backstage with Cass and his personal problems with Enzo being Enzo, which is, I'm a fucking dick, and I can just get away with whatever I want because I work with WWE.
How you doing?
It was a bad influence, not to mention Daniels and Kazarian, but I'm happy for Big Bill. He turned his life around, and he got his spot in AEW, and I'm glad that he's getting to share the moment with Ricky as the tag team champion. La Pasión and Gobernable did their thing here, but being the mark that I am for like nostalgic wrestling, I was really thinking FTR would win here, or Kings of the Black Throne. One of those two teams. I was telling myself, yeah, they're the tag team champs, but ain't no fucking way they're gonna be holding on to these shit for a while, right? Right? And then they fucking won, and I'm like, oh, fucking dicks. I'm giving this match a bars.
Validated them boys.
Yeah, everyone here got elevated. Everybody here got elevated,
Yeah.
especially La Pasión, since they were gone for like a minute. I think their elevation here was really more important since they were the ones that were like MIA for like a good minute.
Real shit.
So, triple threat for the TBS Championship. Look at that. This man putting more women's matches on his main card. He finally listening to the people. Now everyone can shut the fuck up.
Well, let's keep talking about it and let's keep going, keep the train going.
Julia
Productive
Hart,
discussions.
Sky Blue. Oh, I'm sorry, the Dark Sky.
The dark
We're
sky.
gonna talk about her new. She's now officially the Dark Sky,
Yes.
taking on the champ Chris Statlander. This was 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Go ahead, TJ. Ramble on.
So, young, young, that was the ladder match review. I am the
Oh no,
ladder
this
was crazy.
yeah. Oh yeah. The fucking the ladder didn't break.
That was crazy. But yeah, this match. So, how about we circle back to what I just said about the other women's match?
Yes.
Balance of gimmick and action. This match had it. More
Yep.
story than gimmick, I suppose. But Julia in the Dark Sky definitely got some kind of symbiosis going on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She, the Dark Sky was infected by Julia, and Julia thought she was going to be her little minion, but the Dark Sky said, "No, I walk alone." Um, that's going on. Um, Statlander anchored this shit like an absolute pro. Just further reaffirming how great she's been since she came back from injury. She's been just incredible. Um, Julia winning was a bit surprising, only because I didn't think she'd get it this soon after she wrestled Stat and lost. Like we even agreed, Julia's probably gonna win that title soon enough, just down the line. But
Yeah, we said that like down the line there was gonna be a rematch, and you know technically it was the rematch plus one.
yeah, so she got it back. She got it right back. And then she did it. So fair play because she's improved a lot. She's gotten over. And hopefully this move creates another reliable star player in the women's division. Which the more of those they get, the better for that division. So I'm gonna give this the highest of quotes.
This was the better women's match, honestly. Like
What?
again, there was more story here. There was more progression because now we got to see the full on transition of the Dark Sky. No more hat. She got a crown. She got like a black gown and shit that she comes down to the ring, and she's like a very evil dark version of Lauren Van Ness. If you guys remember who that is, it's Chelsea Green in WWE. Not a hot mess, but a very evil, dark hot mess. It's quite amazing, and I really love the transition. The new music kicks ass. The get up kicks ass. I'm hoping she has like a different moveset. I know she started spraying blue mist, which is like her thing now, because now she's accepted the House of Black's gifts since she is now on her own against the wall and whatever. I enjoyed the storytelling that was going on here because yeah, we were gonna get this match again between Statlander and Julia. That's why the plus one had to get involved because she too was a part of this story. Tony Khan had to find a way to fit Sky Blue into this whole scenario, and I think she fit in very well. She did her part here. There were moments where she felt as if she was going to walk out the victor, but then they gave it to Julia, which basically tells me we're going to get Sky Blue versus Julia Hart at World's End. Unless you're trying to save that for Winter is Coming, I don't know, but I think it'll be a good choice for them to do it on the pay-per-view.
I definitely do think they're getting a 1-on-1 down the line for sure. I wanted
Yeah,
that
because I think now I think at this point this was to give Chris her rub because I think we all honestly knew that she was supposed to get this belt years ago from Jade, but then she was gone. That's why we had Jade get this monster fucking push.
Yeah.
So I think she did a perfectly good job with defending the belt for what she did. And hey, at least I got to see her when I went to Boston while she was the champion, which was great. I enjoyed it. This match was fun. I'm going to give this a 3.5. This was very good. I love the talent between these two. I think Chris carried these two women very well, and I think Sky Blue is going to get into her dark heel run pretty well. We just got to see more of it. We saw some of it this week, but we still need more. We need more of her talking in promos now in this new getup.
Real shit.
It's time for some Texas.
Oh my God.
This, I told you this earlier, like a week ago, and it's true. This is the longest match of the night. This was the most build. This was probably the most anticipated match. Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page. 29 minutes and 55 seconds. 5 seconds away from the half hour mark. TJ, talk about this.
How is every Hangman Adam Page Texas Death Match the best one? Every time he does this. I don't understand.
I feel like he was a deathmatch wrestler back in his day, and he just never told anyone.
In his past life, he was a deathmatch wrestler. um, this was everything a blood feud is supposed to bring. This is exactly what should happen when a man breaks into another man's home and stands over his child. Violence. This is what should happen. Violence. Also, a special shout out to Swerve, who, for all his proficiencies as a pro wrestler, is, I think, dangerously underrated in these types of matches. Like, Swerve can do this deathmatch shit, bro.
Does
Like,
anyone not remember his match as Killshot when he faced AR
mhm.
Fox and Dante
Dante
Fox?
Fox at Lucha Underground. Also, one of the most insane death matches you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Like, when Swerve want to really do this shit, he can do this shit. Obviously, the spot everyone's talking about is Hangman drinking the blood. That was crazy. That was bad.
I cannot. I'm not saying anything. I'm gonna let you just go ahead. I'm saving all the rest.
Um, but the stapler, the 450 through the glass, the barbed wire, everything that these two were doing to each other was just a glorious send up to all different types of deathmatch violence. And Hangman just proving he king of this shit, man. My lone knock on the match is the cage running because I thought it was excessive. Because I thought you already had the Nana shenanigans, which I expected, and they did it. Um, so when Cage came out and did his whole thing, I thought that like halted the pacing for a moment, and that's my only knock on it. But otherwise, this was top motherfucking tier. Um, Swerve Strickland should be getting that at AEW World Championship. I think he should be the guy. I think he should be the guy to beat MJF. I do. I really
Yes.
believe that now. And hopefully he does, but we'll see. He's built himself up into that level of name. So highest of bars, just on the fucking razor's edge of a goat. Highest of bars. Swerve is the goat, young wolf.
I
This
gotta light.
man he is that guy.
I
Give him
gotta
the
light
world.
it. This is what I
Like,
was saving this for.
oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ah, best match of the night. Best match of the year. Top five overall in 2023. I would make this number one on my list if we ever did a top 10 ever of 2023. This is definitely number one. All of the spots were a fucking, oh my god, everything here was just so exquisite. It was like a fine dining set. Basically, they give you the appetizer, all the other shit. Appetizer being, all right, we're gonna start doing staples on each other and all that shit. I'm gonna staple my son's picture on your face and whatnot. We're gonna give the people what they want at first, and then we're gonna pretend we're gonna give them what they want, but we're not gonna give them the fire. They're gonna chant we want fire, but we're not gonna give them the fire. We're
No
gonna
fire.
give them more than that. And they started with the fucking main course with cinder blocks, all this shit. The blood drinking was probably hands down the best thing I've ever seen in pro wrestling. And I'm a deathmatch enthusiast. I love shit like that. That's for masochistic people that are comfortable watching this type of shit. If you had kids next to you watching the show, you have probably covered their eyes and ears from all this shit that people were chanting, from everything that was going on.
Imagine being a kid seeing this.
I don't think your kid was allowed to see this match. And quite honestly, I don't know why you took your kid to this show to begin with. This is not a show for kids. You need to understand that. They were dropping F-bombs about this show. The fuck you thought this was? This whole thing, though, was just absolutely masochistic as fuck. Darby Allin in the back, like, I could have done most of that shit. This was bloodlust to its fine. This is how you do an actual blood feud. I mean, yeah, I gave all the negativity about, oh, this man went to his crib and baby and all that. So I'm like, how'd you get the key to this house? How's that even possible? Like, where was his wife? Where was all this happening? And this whole thing, like, this was an absolute bar burner of a death match. Like DJ was right. Why is it that Hangman has the best Texas death matches in AEW? He had one with Jon Moxley. He had one with fucking Lance Archer. He had one with Swerve. And I'll say right now, Swerve coming out to the Fiend Pants was great. Paying homage.
Yeah, the tribute, the homage with the homage was fire.
Like, yeah, the fucking cage spot was a little excessive. I don't give a shit about it. It didn't hurt the match overall because it's a death match. It's no disqualification. That shit was gonna happen whether people liked it or not. We're trying to build Swerve here. I think at this point, Hangman already got his build. It's time to start building up the future. Because where the fuck are the 4 pillars? MJF is still doing stuff, but he don't feel like a pillar no more. Darby Allin's doing stuff, but he don't feel like a pillar. Jungle Boy gone. Sammy Guevara is still trying to get cleared. Only one that looks like more of a pillar here is fucking Swerve.
He's ready.
He's fucking ready. And I'm hoping he's the one that takes the ball off of MJF. I'm hoping it's not Adam Copeland. I'm hoping it's not any of these guys that they have lined up. I'm hoping it's Swerve. We gotta pull this trigger already. This match proved that Swerve deserves to be in the big time with all these big stars. He's just faced a big star like Hangman and beat him twice.
That's the type of shit that rockets you up to the top. It should
My
be.
heart wants to give this match a go, but my masochistic mind is giving this match a 20-star Meltzer shit.
Oh my god.
This was pure bloodlust. I needed this. Cinder blocks, glass. Look, these guys were literally looking like on the verge of dying. This is how you do a death match. Come on, bro. The fact that Hangman got yoked by his own fucking chain and shit. You mean to tell me that this match didn't implicate the fucking meaning of death here? Hangman looked like he died. These 2 men looked like they were gonna die. All the blood from fucking Swerve? Yeah, he could have been dead with all that blood. So that looked like Eddie when he gigged himself like way too deep. I think that's what I'm not saying that's what Swerve tried to do, but I think with all the hard shots and all the stiff movements that they were doing, it was like, yeah, I think we needed to make this shit look fuck. This match was real. I can't get you call it a work shoot, call it whatever you want. This match was real to me. It felt real to me. It felt real to the crowd. Again, my heart is going to give it a 5.5, but being the masochistic bastard that I am, and I love this type of shit, 20-star Meltzer shit.
This is pro motherfucking wrestling. That's what that was.
This is one of those matches where it's like, I mean, for God's sakes, I came.
Yeah, facts.
I can't. There's nothing else to it. There's nothing else to it after that. And this fucking match happens. The Golden Jets, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega take on the Young Bucks. If the Young Bucks lose, they lose their number one contendership. But if Jericho and Kenny lose, their love relationship got to break up because Coda ain't having that shit. This is 20 minutes and 45 seconds of bullshit. Go ahead, TJ, ramble on.
So off the rip, story wise, I get why the stipulations were here, but I hated them. Unnecessary stipulations. But honestly, I think two things hurt this match. The obvious being what it followed. And then kind of related to that, the story going into this was a pretty messy one. Even if the ending does kind of clean some parts of it up. I said before that the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega always provides a strong story, especially in the ring. And it did here once things got going, like the play off the betrayals and all that, like playing off like Kenny, come on, betray him, come back home and all that shit. It worked out. It got the crowd going. And then of course, as they slid over more and more toward the heel side as the match went on, the Young Bucks are always at their best when they lean into some of the worst perceptions of them and decide to needle. And this was basically a 20-minute build to that, capped off with the finish and then the low blow and the Young Bucks getting mad and all that. Them going heel definitely makes sense, even if it combined with Jericho has kind of muddied the Kenny Omega Don Callis story. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of how all that's gone, but
Can I
whatever.
just tell you this before you finish? Can I just
Yeah.
tell you overall? Like, I get where you're coming from here, but hear me on this. Do you want to know who just won overall throughout this entire match? It wasn't us. It wasn't the Young Bucks. It wasn't Kenny. It wasn't Chris. It wasn't the fans. You want to know who really won?
Was it me, Don Callis?
It was fucking Don.
Yes, I've done it again.
Because he's watching the dissension of the elite. This is all his doing.
I've
With
killed
Kenny
the
and
elite.
this is all he's doing, and all he's doing is watching.
He's just standing there.
Menacingly.
Damn
He's
him.
won. He's won. Fuck us. Don won. The trilydic asshole won here.
And that's the thing. I kind of want to regain focus back onto that. Like Kenny Omega dealing with Don Callis and Takeshita and Will Hobbs and all that shit. I want to kind of get back on that. But this match, I thought it was good. Just had some, it was in a sort of a rough position. I give it a high grade, 3.5.
I'm just gonna give my grade now because this is just all negative to me. Getting who booked this shit.
No.
Okay. This was overbooked as fuck. This was just so chaotic. I couldn't stand it. And the fact that they had to add these stipulations, it's just like, oh, whatever. I don't care. I mean, and also the little tantrum that the Bucks did, they looked like bitches. I'm sorry.
That
They
was
looked
the
like
point.
and like I think that on a personal scale too, because I think at this point they're fed up. They're fucking fed up, and I think they're starting to realize that this is starting to become a huge toll on them.
Well, they
And
just
they're starting to get
re-signed, so they clearly ain't that fed up.
they're starting to get hate also, and now they're trying to trademark the whole like now BTE is done. I'm like, well, good riddance. It's like there was really nothing interesting, with BTE anymore. Now you're just putting out skits,
It was
which is
kind of
just
dying off
atrocious.
either way. But
So
I don't know. Maybe it'll be back.
it's now gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be a new vlog series, but I think they're just killing being the elite, and they're gonna be now doing this random faction called Killing the Business. Maybe the Young Bucks are gonna join Don Callis and the family. I don't know.
It's actually kind of crazy to think that BT just like what died out, whimper with a whimper. Like BTE, in a lot of ways, is responsible for AEW existing.
Yes.
Like that's crazy to think
Like,
about.
no proper send off, no nothing. Like,
Yeah,
something tells me that there's something in the works here.
yeah, maybe.
But at this point, I'm sick of the Young Bucks. I was sick of them,
I get it.
after I mean, this whole thing, like, I think it was like after everything was back to normal. That's when I started getting sick of them because it's like it's just the same old shit that you do every week. You don't change nothing because you fucking suck. And the fucking media scrum that took place. Like at this point, it's like they didn't even take full responsibility, and it was just bullshit. So I have just lost
They
all
were
respect for him.
suspended,
I respect. I still give Kenny his respects because he's still a great wrestler and all that other stuff. But the Young
and
Bucks,
they're not.
I'm no, the Young Bucks are fucking dumb. They're like as long as they keep putting out the same shit and give Meltzer his hard on and their 5 stars for them putting out the same old moves over and over again every week, then they're fine. Because that's the only person that they're gonna tell, yo, give me 5 stars. I did like 50 flips for your bitch ass.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, is it Will Ospreay that guy? Because he's the one that keeps getting all the 5-star matches.
Now, but it's also like,
No,
I
for
can't
the
even
past
compare
like
that
3 years, it's been Ospreay.
for the past 3 years, but also who else was getting 5 stars along that time?
It hasn't been the
Kenny.
Young Bucks since like
But
2016. That's when they were
still,
going crazy with the 5 star.
I'm just saying it gets a little tiring when you see the same old shtick from the Young Bucks and nothing's changed. It's like when you see John Cena back in the days doing the 5 moves of doom and everyone was just sick of his shit and they were chanting "You can't wrestle." This is one of those moments where the crowd should have just chanted "You can't wrestle" to the Young Bucks. That's
That
why
would
it's
be
getting a who
stupid
booked this
because
shit.
they can wrestle. They're great wrestlers, but I get what you mean in that you want them to change it up. But that's why they're turning
Yeah.
heel.
Even turning it heel, I don't think they're gonna change it up. I think it's just gonna be the same old shtick.
Well, like you
It's just the
said,
same old
they're
moveset.
doing the
You could
killing the
change
business shit.
you
They're
could
gonna
change the character, but it's still gonna feel the same, just with a different name. You could do the heel turn, but the minute you get in that ring, you're still gonna do the same old bullshit that everyone cheers you for, and that everyone's gonna get fucking sick and tired of.
Well, what do you
Which
want them
I
to
don't
do? You want them to start doing chin locks and shit? You want them to slow it down, brother? They're the Young
at
Bucks.
this point, they're gonna have to slow it down because they're breaking their fucking bodies. How many times do we have to see these guys go away for 3 weeks because they get injured?
But that's my point. They can do other shit. Like if you want them to wrestle differently, they can. Like they're capable of that. But like let's see what they do with the heel turn first. Like because they trademarking shit. Maybe they know that they need to do some different shit. So maybe it will be some different shit.
It's still getting a who booked this shit because at this
That's fine.
point, Kota Ibushi needs to go kill Jericho. Because why the fuck are why are we teaming these guys together? And I'm just saying it now. This ain't no fucking Revolution 2020 shit. You take away Jericho, you put in Hangman. No, this ain't this. This is not that match. If y'all was expecting this match, hell no. Y'all were being lied to. I'm sorry. Y'all were dead being lied to for real, for
Hold
real.
on. Jimmy says, I love how as soon as CM Punk returns to WWE, Seth Rollins and Drew have temper tantrums over it. Gotta love it. Yeah, it's almost like he needs opponents or something.
It's all work shoots. It's all work shoots.
Yeah.
No, but I did find out about the Drew stuff. He did say some stuff because they're at a live show tonight. So
Mm.
he had his reasons as to why he stormed out. So if I find that video, I'll explain it. But yeah, this match is getting a fucking who booked this shit. I hated this fucking match because look at what they had to do after the fucking Texas death. The crowd was dead. Even Young Wolf will tell us, yo, nobody didn't give a fuck because everyone was tired from the Texas death and they were just waiting for the main event to take place.
They got going toward the end. They got going toward
It
the end.
got
With the
going.
Young
No,
Bucks.
like post match, that's when it started getting interesting because Young Bucks were getting booed. They're fucking throwing temper tantrums like they fucking think they run things here, but they do. Can't even manage a fucking target.
Yeah.
Main event time because we got to do WarGames after this. Adam Cole, psych, but we do got to talk about that because this is where all the overbooking takes place. So before the main event takes place, we get some cutaways, with Tony Schiavone and shit. There was a skit in the stage. We had Bryce Remsburg in the ring holding on to the AEW World title. Tony Schiavone's there. They're announcing that there was going to be a forfeit, no main event. The crowd was getting rambunctious. They were like, "Boo!" show, WWE for life.
Stand up for WWE.
You got fucking Jay White coming out, it's like, I'm the champion. And then jackass Adam Cole with a broken fucking foot comes out, is like, hey, I can wrestle. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, again, I was not here live when all this shit happened. So my show was already done. I'm chilling with the guys. We're all just talking, having a good time, taking pictures. I'm going online, I'm looking through the phone, and it says, bam, fucking Jay White versus Adam Cole for the AEW World title tonight. And I'm showing everyone, they're like, the fuck is Tony Khan doing? We get the match. Before the bell even rings, Scott Steiner decides to pull up. Nope, psych, it's a fucking EMT truck. It's all AEW decides to pull an Attitude Era playbook from the WWF and say, "Hey MJF, go steal this fucking ambulance truck. Go commit another felony. Come back with the truck. Come back injured. Do your match." And then it was official once again. MJF versus Jay White for the AEW World Championship, the Triple B. 29 minutes and 45 seconds. TJ, let's bring this one home.
King Switch got screwed. He kind of did.
Oh, I mean, it's better. It's better for Young Wolf to say that. Everyone was like, "King Switch got buried." What the fuck is wrong with
Everybody
you
was
people?
crying, buried, but
What's wrong with you people?
hyperbole. I mean, hyperbole is what it is. But so here's the thing. Let's go back to the women's match one more time. The balance of gimmick and action, of story, quote unquote, and action. This shit was 100% doing too much. So the Adam Cole angle is an attempt at drama, sure, but it only creates more questions. And like for one, all right, so if MJF's injured, why would you replace him with a dude that is also injured? How did Adam Cole get cleared if MJF might not be able to get cleared? What? So we get to the match though. We got the story of once MJF comes out, basically one-legged MJF trying to fight off Jay White, who's had his number at most every turn, stole his belt, been beating him up, all that. Fair enough, good drama. They're working it well. Jay White's working the leg, crowd super invested in it. They're hot. So then you don't then need ref bumps and the guns running in and all the extra bullshit, because then just like the Righteous, it's not a good look for Jay White if he, with the guns helping him, can't beat a one-legged guy. It's not a good look. And to me, it speaks to a larger issue in TK at times doing too much in trying to appeal to all fans and address all the criticisms that are prevalent about AEW. I've talked about before, him trying to address the complaints of the people who complain about the lack of story or all that type of shit. Like some complaints you got to just ignore and do what you do. Because MJF doing an elbow drop to the floor after the table fucks up is a way better way to show how determined he is to be the champion, as opposed to cooking up some story that he got hurt and then got replaced by someone who was also hurt.
And it doesn't give the crowd an opportunity to fucking dog shit the match because of one fucked up spot. They recovered from it by MJF even sacrificing his own body by jumping 25 feet off the top rope to do that spot.
Right. Like if your whole idea was to tell the story that MJF will do anything and go through anything to be world champion, that one spot right there shows it. And it was a fuck up that they just went off of and fixed. Then that's my point in that you don't have to take all these other extra steps to tell a story and prove that you can be a storytelling company. Just fucking tell your stories in the ring. You have the talent. MJF and Jay White know what to do. Like, so for me, I thought this was a well worked match, but it sadly had the WWE esque issue of good wrestling with the booking hampering it. So I give it a solid goods, right on the line, 3 stars. That's what I'll say about this main event.
Honestly, despite Tony Khan being a boss, I'm not even gonna look at this shit as him being a boss. I see this as a wrestling fan, booking a show and saying, "Hey, I remember watching this on TV. I used to love spots like that. It was good. It got ratings. It got people rambunctious as to what was gonna happen. Blah blah blah. Let's bring this in here." I think overall, when they were telling the story weeks on in before the pay-per-view, the story that they were telling here was good because now there was more other shit getting involved with Adam Cole, next strong guys, the Devil, Samoa
Take you
Joe,
home.
now fucking Wardlow. All right, because now everyone wants MJF. They're like, yeah, the main storyline right now was MJF and Jay White. But you had to understand that there were many other storylines that was going on between that storyline. But they were still focusing on that build. They didn't have Jay White hold on to the title for a number of weeks and, do nothing with it. That was the main story. That was the build. They were trying to get into MJF's head and be like, I'm the champion. I'm the real champion. You're a phony. You're a fraud. I know you're the devil. Blah, blah, blah. That was the story. The fact that the story became overbooked as soon as we started the pay-per-view, this is where the overbooking went to shit. This is where it died. It took a nosedive completely. And I'm not gonna go out of my way and say that, oh, I'm with everyone that says, oh, Jay White got buried. No. Jay White didn't get buried. Jay White looks stupid in this match because he had every single opportunity in his hand to walk out of there the world champ. And you mean to tell me he got beat by 2 men who are injured? Remember how I said the same thing about the fucking righteous not beating one guy because the other one is injured? That's non-believable. And you lose your crowd completely. This kind of diminished the title. And I'm talking about just this match and the way they overbooked it. It diminished the title completely. Because, with them thinking, oh, it was going to be vacant, it was going to be a forfeit, we got someone taking his place who can't fucking wrestle. And it's like, how are we going to pull this off? And I'm really sitting here when I'm getting here late, and I think you showed up at that same time too. We're sitting here telling ourselves, how the fuck are they going to pull this off? They pulled it off, and it still looked like shit.
Like that was the thing for me. Like coming in, all right, Cole's replacing him. What? So then is Cole cleared? And then Cole comes out on fucking crutches, and it's like, so then what? Like it just didn't make sense, that part.
And then to make matters worse, like I would have been okay with, something good happening at the ending. Like, oh, okay, maybe this time Joe will finally get his due by the devil and get assaulted. And Joe will take some time off until he comes back for his world title match at World's End. We didn't get any of that. And I'm just like, okay, then the show just felt fucking flat and mediocre to me. So you mean to tell me that the only thing that had more build was the Texas Death? And that was way more interesting than this main event? I think you should have just switched it around if that was the case.
I mean, I thought the bill was fine. It's just, if they wouldn't have done this extra shit with the Cole thing, they wouldn't have done that angle with MJF getting Pillmanized and all that. I think it would have been fine. Like, because they were into just MJF and Jay White wrestling each other. That part of the match when they were just going at each other, people were into that. And I think the problem was just all the extraneous stuff.
Bottom line, this whole match proved so many things to me. It diminished Jay White. It diminished the Ring of Honor World Tag Team belts. It did not make the world title look good. And this whole thing throughout the pay-per-view, they overbooked it to become like some attitude era hokey cartoon bullshit. And the last thing that we needed was Attitude Era hokey cartoon bullshit. I don't think we needed any of that. I think what we could have just done was keep MJF in the trainer's room, give an update every fucking hour on, whether or not he's going to compete. And then when it's time for the main event, he just comes out of the trainer's room getting ready to wrestle. You didn't need Adam. You didn't need all this shit. You didn't need a fucking ambulance escorting MJF out. You have trainers. You have a trainer's room, for fuck's sake. None of this made any sense, and this was AEW Tony Khan being AEW Tony Khan.
Yeah, he went a little off the rails on this one. I don't know.
So, what did you give this match?
I gave it a good.
Okay, it's good. Mid! Would have gave it a who booked this shit, but the fact that we had MJF actually wrestling in the match, like, come on, holy fuck. If they didn't do that, holy shit.
When they actually wrestled each other, it was good.
No, that was the thing. That was it. It was just the ending and all of the bullshit.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You could, again, like I said, and with him facing the righteous, MJF could be your favorite fucking wrestler ever. But there's your favorite wrestler could have a bad match, but also a very bad overbooked angle. And he still had to work with it. I mean, come on, we just watched him crying in the media scrum when he was sucking down on them pickles. Pause.
Wow.
But still, like, it was bad. Overall grade for Full Gear, match of the night, worst match of the night, and then we'll jump into WarGames.
In the chat, Young Wolf says, "Fuck Jim Cornette for saying Jay can't wrestle." Well, yeah, he's dumb. I think Vince Russo is the worst with his opinion, says James. The other side of the shitty coin, Russo and
Fuck
Cornette.
Him, shoot. Fuck him too.
The dark sky blue, says Chris Leclerc. The dark sky.
The dark sky.
All right, so match of the night, definitely Texas Death Match. Fucking insane. Match of the year candidate. All the superlatives. You know how that's rocking. For sure, easy money. As for the show overall, I thought this was a really good show. I'm gonna give this an A. This was solid. Like there were clunky spots, but I feel like the level of consistency was mostly there, and the highs were high enough to where it was like, all right, I'm fucking with this heavy. I really enjoyed obviously Texas Death Match. I didn't hate the main event. I guess if you hate the main event, that'll drag it down for you. But yeah, I thought Mox and Orange was very good. Great, in fact. Two women's matches was a plus, even if one women's match wasn't as good as you would have hoped. The other women's match was actually better than you would have hoped. So yeah, I think good balance, good pace on the show with the 8-match card and all that. So hopefully Tony can keep up the good pacing. So yeah, leave it in there.
The show overall, I'm going to give for Full Gear 2023. I will give it it will get a solid B. Now, I would have went lower, but the only reason why it's getting a B, and because of the overbooking, this is another reason why. I didn't like how they switched it from nostalgic LA Lakers style graphics to, we got to go back to the generic stuff. I'm like, why did that necessary change need to be done? Like, it was cool just to have the yellow and purple for the Full Gear logo and poster. I don't know why all that shit needed to change. Despite the overbooking of the main event and MJF, best match of the night, definitely Texas Death Match. I mean, again, it gets a 5.5, honestly, but I'm giving it 20 fucking stars. That shit was crazy.
I had to break the scale for that hoe.
The worst match, I will give it to the Golden Jets versus the Young Bucks. I was going to say Tony Storm and Hikaru Shida, but, I don't give a shit because of Tony's ass. It doesn't become the worst match of the night because the cameraman won by giving the people what they really wanted, and all those intrusive thoughts and that cookie sheet being on her ass.
Nah, listen, that cookie sheet was in plain fucking view, man. That was the worst match of the night. I
I
was
mean,
fucking
I mean,
no.
yeah, despite all the stupidity of what I said, I mean, I gotta give it to the Young Bucks Omega Jericho match. Like, that match was stupid. It made no sense. And they only did it because FTR were not the tag champs anymore. So the Young Bucks were stumped. So can't really say that much. Overall, I'm like, I I didn't hate the show. I just feel like there was some problems and some mishaps that, left the show with some fucking problems. And despite all those problems, it was still pretty good for what they did. I liked all the matches. Texas Death Match will still be the greatest match ever. Fight me if anyone thinks otherwise. But we go forward. You need to switch that background, sir, because now we're on the other show. Do you not see the coach stir?
Let's do it with his bitch ass Cody Rhodes.
Last night was Survivor Series War Games 2023 in the Allstate Arena at Chicago, Illinois, with an attendance of 17,138 people. They sold out more seats by having the Tron be as small as they could be, so that they could sell those seating areas. And I think they did a pretty good job, but we're gonna talk more about most of that stuff when we get to the end, because that's mainly where things are going to get interesting. We open up the show with the women's War Games match. And that was Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch taking on Damage Control of Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane. This match was 33 minutes and 35 seconds. Go ahead, TJ, ramble on.
33 minutes? Wow.
Yep.
That's actually way longer than I thought this was. Um James, let me get James real quick. We'll talk about this later, but I'll just say real quick, it'll hurt AEW, but not that much.
AEW hasn't been saying shit about that.
Yeah,
About
my general point on that is AEW is definitely going to be fine.
But that's
Like,
the thing too. Like, AEW doesn't really need to say anything about it. Like, let them do their own thing.
they
WWE is
don't.
doing their thing. Like, at the end of the day, like,
Like
look,
the CM
everyone's
Punk
like,
chapter is already. It should be already closed for AEW. It should be closed once they fired him. And this is just further confirmation that that's over. So,
yeah.
but
But
yeah,
again, we'll talk about all that later.
yeah. This match, WWE War Games matches are basically just like party matches, hardcore party matches,
Yes.
where it's just a cavalcade of one entrant comes down, they look under the ring, what weapon am I gonna pull out? And they pull out whatever weapon, and they go in the ring and they do some hardcore shit. Um, and in this one, it's another, I guess, it's become another victim of the WWE formula. It's another symptom of the formula in that everybody's coming down to get their weapons from under the ring, but all the crowd fucking wants is fucking tables. It's and this is prominent across all of wrestling. Yes, like everybody in every wrestling promotion be going crazy for tables, but in WWE, it's bad. From everything I've seen, from the recent WWE shows I've seen, it's so much worse than in other promotions. Like any hardcore match you do, within minutes, the crowd is cheering for tables. No matter what, like you could pull out whatever, and the crowd just fucking wants tables. Like I get it, table spots are cool, but like fuck, there's other weapons. Like, damn, there's other weapons I like seeing used and that I pop for in matches. But like it's like Pavlovian that they're just trained to tables, tables, tables. And that's part of why like generally this shit ain't really for me. But like again, they take advantage of that by Asuka. She's the one that comes down to the ring and she's like, yeah, look at this shit. And she pulls out a table and everybody goes crazy. So, um, but other than that, I thought, with all that in mind, with these being like party hardcore matches, they filled that to a T. They filled that expectation to a T. Dakota popping in, interfering and shit. EO doing the trash can spot like that she does all the time. Well, not all the time. She did it, I think, once or twice before. But putting the trash can over her and jumping off
This
the
was
top
the
of the
second
stage.
time she did it.
Yeah,
She
second
did
time she
it.
did it.
Did she compete in WarGames last year?
I don't think so. Maybe she did. Was Damage Control in it last year?
I believe they were, but I'm trying.
If
Let
yes, then
me.
she probably was.
All right, you know what? You keep talking. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
the research right now because I forgot that we are podcasting. We have to do all this research.
Yeah, but regardless, EO she did the spot where she dives off with the trash can. No insane elbow from Kyrie, unfortunately, but you know it is what it is. The finish was, I guess, fine. Babyface, jumping Bailey. They just jumped her, and then pinned her, which that's all that ever happens in these fucking Damage Control matches. Bailey gets pinned. But I guess that's now gonna feed into the storyline of them kicking her out if they kick her out. But I'll give
Yeah,
this a solid good.
Damage Control was in it last year with Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley.
Oh, I don't remember EO
They
doing it
faced
last year.
Bianca, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, and Becky Lynch.
Oh,
Yeah. What did you give this match?
a good.
I thought this was fun. Oh my god! I think, and you're probably right on this. And I think that's one thing that I'm gonna start hating going into 2024. I should have been hating this like years ago, but I don't know why I didn't hate it because maybe I was a part of that shit. But I haven't been doing it for a while. I feel like everyone is artificially programmed to just chant "We want tables." Like that shit is just now pissing me off. Just like how when people cut promos and shit of people of wrestlers, when wrestlers that people don't like cut promos, they just do the fucking what chants, and it's like, oh dear God,
It
you
is
guys can't
becoming the
fucking do.
fucking what chant
You
of
can't
matches. We
fucking
want
do that.
tables.
It's
We
like
want tables.
WWE is we want tables. AEW we want fire. Like the fuck,
Yeah,
guys.
AEW fans different. We
Like,
want
look,
fire. Calm down. All right.
I understand that there's that saying you got to give the people what they want, but this is why you can never give all of us what we want in wrestling because we ask for it a lot and we get too much of it, it becomes tiring. It becomes very tiring. And at this point, I'm already getting sick and fucking tired of the "we want tables" chant. When we get a table, we get a table. But that doesn't mean you guys have to go on a fucking riot because you don't get one.
Yeah, like, and then not before anything even happens of a hardcore variety. Like, shit, calm down.
That too, like chill the fuck out. Like, look, I understand that the War Games match doesn't officially start until everyone is in the cage. That's why they have that rule where, oh, if you get out, you surrender. They're like, cool, yeah, but that's why everyone's getting all the weapons out. That too, but it can't just be, oh, the third person that's coming out of the cage that has the advantage has to grab all the fucking weapons and the tables. You know, there are other women that are going to do that too. You can't just be chanting that every fucking time someone comes out. It's annoying as hell. I don't care about the CM Punk chants during the match because it's Chicago. We shouldn't be shitting on them for it because one, some of us knew that it was going to happen. Some people didn't want to believe it. You guys.
I
Um,
mean, I'll say it's one thing cheering for him during the main event because all right, maybe you expect him to come out during that match, but cheering for him during the women's match, that's whack. Don't do that.
but even when you go, but how many years have we gone to shows in Chicago and they still chant this man's name?
That's
Didn't
true.
matter if it was a men's or women's match. It's Chicago. They're gonna do it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like if you're chanting, like in this case, they're chanting for him because they want to see him, and it's like, all right, you're not going to see him here. Just wait a while.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's like you have people that were again that kind of knew, but also were on that speculation, like, oh, it might not happen. Like I was on that same nerve end. I was literally speculating this is gonna happen, this is happening, this is happening. I've been watching the show every week. I look at the tidbits, I look at the Easter eggs. They could tell me that they're not doing shit with him, but they're all fucking liars. And this company is known for fucking lying. And it happened. On to this match though. Match was fun. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed what the women did here. Honestly, this was my favorite women's War Games match on this pay-per-view. On this pay-per-view. I want to say it was the match of the night because I can't even tell you what was the match of the night here because this show felt mediocre until the end. But this was so fun. You know, when I liked how they always pace out. Like, we're gonna open the show with a War Games and we're gonna end it with a War Games. It gets the people excited for the start of the show, knowing that there's gonna be other shit that people are gonna take their breaks on because they're gonna get ready for the next big event of War Games for the men. And then that's what these are placed for. That's why these matches are longer than all the matches that are on the card. Because look at the amount of people that are going to be in it. Look at the amount of time that they're going to get, and look at all the shit that they're going to be performing for you. And EO did the trash can spot again. It's like, can lightning strike twice with EO doing that shit again? Because that looked unsafe the first time, but then she did it again. It looked fucking great. Charlotte doing the moonsault at the top of the cage, great, but she kind of decked EO with her fucking knee on the top of her head, which was like, that was kind of bad. And I don't know if EO was concussed, but holy shit. Bailey here trying to build story though. She trying to let people know, I'm here to save a hoe. I'm here to save a Joshi. I'm not trying to get kicked out of my own faction.
Saving everybody.
It's like, you're not going to kick me out of my own faction that I started.
It's her group.
So, again, I think that's why I enjoyed this match was, despite, you know, everyone doing their shit and Shotzi being Shotzi, I can't really say much about Shotzi. Not that she was just, you know, botchy here. There was a few moments, but she held her own. I think she was well fit here, but we gotta fucking gotta get that girl looking good in these matches. Shit.
It's bad because he was always the matches I always thought she was best suited for.
It is, but it's just, you know, again, it's the WWE format where it's like she can't wrestle her style anymore that she was known for, and now she has to wrestle the WWE style, which makes her look so fucking sloppy and disorganized. Because I know she's the type of girl that's not really into that type of style, but she has to work that style because that's how WWE does it these days.
That is what it is.
Match was still fun. Just stop with table chants. Chill. We're just getting started. Chill the fuck out, guys.
Bailey was MVP, Chris. I agree.
No, Bailey was MVP. Like, my nigga, we got 3 more hours of this show. Like, chill the fuck out here.
Yeah.
I'm giving the match a 3.5. It was no, actually, fuck that. This match is getting a bars. This was fun. This was fucking fun. The Intercontinental Championship match. Gunther takes on The Miz. This was 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Go ahead, TJ, rumble on.
Before I get to that, James, he says WWE needs to bring back traditional Survivor Series elimination matches, which I get the want for that, fair enough, but they don't build reasons for that anymore. They would, if they did do it, they'd probably just like put random teams together. And now they have War Games, so there's no need. Like they have a better, you know, they have War Games, so that'll be the draw of it. Kyrie being silly and goofy, she went off with that shit ruled. The backhand she did with the trash can lid, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, like I give you a prime example of not giving everybody everything in Survivor Series. When they debuted the Elimination Chamber, they were still doing traditional Survivor Series matches. Like, you can't fucking do that and then the Elimination Chamber at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
You know, that became a little bit too, you know, excessive for a pay-per-view like that. That's why they had to go back to the traditional 5-on-5, aka fake brand warfare bullshit.
The War Games fits the idea of Survivor Series being 2 big teams face off in a situation type thing. It fits that theme.
I like the concept because it is basically giving Survivor Series a somewhat of revival because not everyone really liked this show, and this is a Big 4 pay-per-view. I need to remind people that this is a Big 4 show, and it was getting probably one of the weakest gimmicks ever with this brand warfare stuff. And I love that WarGames basically said, we're getting rid of the original stuff that we did for the show, and we're bringing you something new that was taken from years ago. And it works. It works here now.
Yeah, this is better than fucking random SmackDown versus Raw.
The only thing that they have to do now is get rid of the red and blue colors, because this is bullshit. We're not doing this anymore.
We don't. Yeah, the brand warfare shit is dead. So I don't know, but whatever.
Like, if we're gonna do the red and blue shit, bring back bragging rights. If you're gonna do that,
if you want to do a brand warfare thing, do it there. But I don't know. They seem done with it.
yeah.
Unless they, I don't know. But yeah, WarGames match is fine. Hazel said Revival, fuck the Revival, and then James said, yeah, I agree. WarGames is fine. But yeah,
I didn't want to say Resurrection because the Survivor Series wasn't dead. It just, how about this? It got remastered into being WarGames now. It's like your fucking Resident Evil 1 remastered versions.
Fair enough. Gunther and Miz.
Yeah.
This was a really good Raw match, I would say. Yeah, this was a good Raw match. I like this. It's good. This definitely could have been some shit on TV, but I thought it was a solid little story. I liked Gunther winning with the fucking Walls of Jericho. Basically, he was Boston Crab, but like you get, it's basically just him because the commentary actually provided fucking context in the match for once, pointing out that Miz was gonna tie Jericho if he won this match for most Intercontinental title reigns. So Gunther winning with Jericho's move to show, no, you don't. Miz showed good fire. Like, you know, again, Miz is not the guy to do the fucking Dragon Lee, Bryan Danielson move to the best of his abilities or whatever, to the best of their abilities. But the crowd gets with him. You get the intention of what's going on. It worked out. He took good punishment from Gunther. It was solid. I'll give this a solid good.
Yeah, this is not one of those matches that you were expecting Miz to be pummeled, destroyed, and murdered by Gunther. Like, they
The
played it
Falsey
safe
was
here.
good too. The Falsey was good. I'll say
They
that.
played it safe here because Miz has to play that safe style and shit, because that's what he knows. You know, that's why you didn't see a lot of hard hitting chops from Gunther at the time. It didn't feel like, you know, all of the matches that he was having previously. Like, this felt pretty slowed down and, you know, WWE style, like the way Miz does it, very protective and safe. Doesn't have to feel like he's hurting himself or others. I don't mind that, but it dumbed down Gunther a bit, because this is not his style at all. This is not like he's a stiff guy. And I know the Miz is not a stiff wrestler. He doesn't like throw his, he's not gonna go all out on his punches. He's gonna work punch you and all that shit, because that's what he knows. These styles didn't mesh well. I didn't mind the angle. I thought it was a good story, but I think the minute the bell rang, it did not clash at all, and I was not seeing it from everyone else's perspective. People said that, oh, this was a good match for the Miz, but again, I don't like Miz as a babyface, and I hate his babyface tactics. The dude did a fucking low blow. What? Why is a babyface doing a low blow to Gunther?
Well, I mean, some baby faces do that.
Okay, but it's
that was
still
Eddie Guerrero's
Miz.
whole thing as a babyface cheating.
Okay, but that's Eddie. That was Eddie's thing. He could get away with that because he knows how to do a good babyface. Miz is not a babyface. You could have Miz do babyface mic work, but he's not a babyface wrestler.
Well, I understood it in this case just because, fuck it, Gunther is such an imposing foe. You know, why not go low on him? I didn't like it.
I didn't like it. I did not like it. I'm not gonna give it a who booked this shit because, you know, they tried. If it was me, if I wanted to be that big of a dick, I just give Miz a participation award for trying.
I mean, they didn't fuck nothing up. The crowd reacted. I think that's about, you know, a solid day at the office.
I'm giving it a 2.5. I'm sorry. I mean, mid. It felt flat to me because their styles just didn't mesh well. It's like you can't. It's like for Miz, you can't be doing everyone else's favorite hits forever. Like these it kicks are getting like literally. I'm getting annoyed by that shit. Like,
Bro, they've been bad since he started doing them, and he's been doing them for years. So like,
get
I
off the
don't
man's
know.
dick. Stop doing the fucking moves and just do your own shit. Like, I like you when you're doing your own shit, not doing everyone else's fucking signature moves. Like, you're not a taskmaster. Chill the fuck out.
He does have Maurice. That's true.
Santos Escobar goes one-on-one with Dragon Lee, who became the substitute for Carlito. I feel like since Carlito's been back, he's just been getting injured a lot. And I'm like, what the fuck? But this was the shortest match on the card with 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Go ahead, TJ Rumble.
This felt like an NXT showcase match. But I mean, not in a bad way, but just this was definitely the low point of the night for like crowd investment because like they weren't that up for this. Like they were into the spots and shit. Like they got into it because Santos and Dragon Lee are obviously really fucking good. But again, like this match was only fucking 6-8 minutes, so you barely got any time to get into it before it was over. So yeah, I thought it was good, but unfortunately, they just were on the stage where and you would think it's fucking Chicago or whatever, but the vibe wasn't there for it. I give this a high bats, low goods, low good in fact, low good.
Now, I'm not gonna say that Triple H doesn't give a shit about lucha libre wrestlers. Like, he's been building them up a lot, but I think this match just proved that they needed to give these guys more time because this was my favorite match. But the problem was, this just looked like a Wrestling Society X match with everyone just doing all their crazy fucking spots immediately. It's
You
like
even got the
straight,
crazy editing.
just jump straight to it, and it's like, bro, Young Wolf said it. This match had no time. They had no time because, again, I'm thinking Carlito got fucking injured. Because what the hell? What now? What, did they not want him to lose at the pay per view? That's why they took him out. I'm like, I mean, I don't think it would have hurt Carlito if he lost to Santos because we're trying to build Santos as this big fucking heel now, becoming Legado on his own. Then fucking do it. I don't think Dragon Lee needed the expense of a loss in this big 4 pay per view because Carlito had to step out.
Yeah.
I still like the match. The problem was it was too short. Again, it was like you picked up the controller and all you did was just flippy shit, flippy shit, flippy shit. This was just a spot fest, and I hated that because you could have given this match at least 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 14 minutes at least. If you were trying to do 5 matches within 3.5 fucking hours, this match should have gotten more time. And I blame Triple H for that. I know that there was more things to take place later on throughout the night, but this match didn't need to be what it had to be, which was 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Like, hell no, absolutely not. That was bad. That was bad booking, and it's getting a bad as well. I'm sorry. I mean, I really enjoyed this match, but there was just so many problems. Mid! I don't think it needed to be. I don't want to give it a mid. I would have given it a who booked this shit just due to the fact that it was just not. It was just rushed. This was like last minute booking. This was like Vince returning again, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley defending her Women's World Championship against Zoe Stark. This match was 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Go ahead, TJ Ramble.
There's maybe I'm not qualified enough to speak on it because I don't watch the fucking shows. But from watching pay per view to pay per view to pay per view to pay per view, seems to me like there is a problem in this division with everyone other than Rhea Ripley because she's very over. They love Rhea Ripley, the crowd. Like they're super into her, but they never give a shit about any of her opponents. The only time any of her opponents has been over in any match that I've seen of hers since she's won the title was Zelina Vega. And that was
At
in
this
Puerto
point,
Rico when she came out draped in the Puerto Rican flag. So
At this
like,
point right now, for the women's division, if your name's not Rhea, Charlotte, Bianca, or Becky, you're not getting over with the crowd.
but that's an issue then because they're throwing Rhea these, like, sometimes she's not even on wrestling on the show, but sometimes when she does wrestle on the show, her opponent just isn't over. They're not buying anything her opponent does because no one buys anyone as someone who could take the belt off Rhea because I guess Rhea's just up here and everyone else is down here. Like, but that's bad. That's bad for the division. Like, especially if they're not building. I don't know. Are they building anyone up on the low
And
end?
at this point right now, from what I'm seeing, and from what I'm going to be seeing the next couple of weeks while I'm not recording, I don't know, because I'm gonna let you finish. From what I'm looking at overall, it's like, yeah, like I said, if your name's not fucking Bianca, Charlotte, Rhea, or Becky, you're not over. In the if I put Bailey and Damage Control aside because they still have their moments and they're always on TV, but if you're anyone else besides those women, you're nobodies. Nia Jax came back with no reaction. Like, the fuck? And they did, and that's a funny thing too, because we had the big kaiju female match between Raquel and Nia that Monday.
Yeah.
No reaction. The crowd was dead. The minute they went backstage and they showed Rhea Ripley, oh yeah! I was just like, yo, what the fuck is going on here?
It's strange and it's hurting the matches because how can Rhea build a solid run of championship defenses if none of her opponents are over?
Even Nikki Cross going back to her sanity gimmick, just looking dead stone cold in the camera and shit like a sinister psychopath. It's not getting over because everyone else is over, but the lower card woman. Like, you do you really think that Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are over right now because of the women's tag team champions? No, because they're not mommy.
Mommy is over, but it's perhaps to the detriment of the rest of the
No, it's not
division. That's all
mommy's
I'm
over.
saying.
Mommy's always on top.
Yeah, mommy's on top, but perhaps to the detriment of the division. So I don't know. I'll give it a bat. James, he said Rhea gives me China vibes. I would have loved to see her face China. China, yeah, getting to face a lot of these girls that cite her as inspiration would have been interesting.
But again, those are just what if scenarios. And even if, China was alive today, and so I don't think even in her age she would actually get back into the ring.
No, she probably actually
But
hates
what's going on, Toy
WWE, but
Bonnie?
that's a different story. What's going on,
Yo,
Toy
I
Bonnie?
mean, I don't wanna make it seem like this women's match was bad. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, the only two matches that were
It
good here
wasn't bad,
were
yeah.
were the WarGames matches, which whatever, sure, but oh my god, the crowd was dead. It's like the minute mommy came out, they got their cheers, they got their intrusive thoughts ready, and if people weren't watching the match, via the fucking ring in the nosebleed section, you were probably watching in the monitors because you were just waiting for those cameraman spots, huh? Look, Zoe Stark is a great competitor, but again, like I was just saying, if you're not Rhea or any of these other women that are on top, including Damage Control, you're not over. Zoe Stark was with Trish. She was over at that time, but then after that, it's like, no more. And then you just put Shayna Baszler. I'm like, okay, is that gonna be the new team now? Because fuck. Look, this was just this. They just gave Rhea a body because the 5-way at Saudi was shit, and they were like, you know what, we're just gonna give you Zoe, and you'll work with that. And they tried their best, but it still wasn't good enough because the crowd was still CM Punk, CM Punk, CM. God. Oh my god, I'm gonna give the match a fucking back. I just feel like all the singles matches that we had, they were all just straight up
Mid!
all just to lead to the main event, which is now the men's War Games match. Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and the return of Randy Orton taking on Judgment Day of Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dirty Dom, and JD McDon't Google Me with Drew McIntyre. This was 34 minutes and 50 seconds. We're not going to add the Punk stuff to this. We're going to have that be separate. So we're going to ramble on this, and when it's the Punk stuff, we'll bring it home. So go ahead, TJ, ramble on the men's War Games.
Like I said earlier, these matches in WWE are party hardcore matches, basically cavalcade spots and weapons and gimmickry, and in certain cases like this, a story, a overarching story throughout the match. And I guess the overarching story of this one was: is Randy Orton really going to show up? It was is Randy Orton really going to show up? And the Judgment Day has a plan, because that's what they kept talking about. Damian Priest, stick to the plan, stick to the plan, stick to the plan. Drew comes out, I'm gonna fucking do this, and he's like, no, stick to the plan, stick to the plan. And then on the other side, it's is Randy coming? Is Randy coming? So
Yeah.
those are the things that sort of tie the WWE War Games matches together and keeps you not locked in on the narrative, as opposed to what in other cases would be like brawling, hatred, heat, blood, whatever.
Yes.
So they do the match, they do the hardcore spots, and it's fun. People are coming in, getting their pops. Jade's going crazy with the yeet. Everybody's getting yeeted. Fucking Cody comes in. Honestly, it's well worked and it's pretty regular up to this point, like a party type attack, like I said. Then we get to the point where they tease the cash in from Priest, where he's like, "This is the plan," and Rhea comes out. It starts out. The clock goes down. Randy's supposed to come out, but then Rhea comes out, and this is the plan. But then Randy comes out afterward, and that boy been doing a lot of cycling, huh?
Man, yoked like a
Yoked
motherfucker.
up. He's yoked up. Randy out here looking jacked. That's crazy.
Holy shit.
Shout out to the man. Randy Orton comes out, hyped as all hell, going crazy. Vintage Orton, all the vintage. Everybody did a vintage spot. Michael Cole called it Vintage War Games. That sucked ass. The spot was cool, but the call sucked. The crowd was going crazy. Like it they were chanting CM Punk on and off throughout the entire match. So it was worrying me that, had Punk not shown up, it would have turned out to be a rough situation, because they would have turned on it. They never actually did turn on the match. I will say that they never
No, they
turned
did
on the
not.
match. They kept chanting for Punk, but there was never a point where they were like, "Oh, he's not coming out." Well, fuck this. Once Randy came out, they were totally fine and happy, and they were rocking with everything. So it was good. They never actually lost the crowd, even though they were like going crazy for Punk. So that was good. So Randy comes out, they murder JD McFunko. Murder
Yeah.
that poor man. And there you have it. It sort of felt like a main event house show type tag, which part of me is like, War Games shouldn't feel like that. It's War Games. But on the
Yeah.
other part, is like, I get it. It's WWE. They're not gonna bleed in this, and the crowd was into it. So I'm gonna give it a good.
All right, so watching this match, I was on edge. I was literally on edge here. One, because it's the main event, it's men's War Games. Two, it's Chicago. It's about to get pretty rambunctious because of this match. Three, it's just a number. So
True.
I go into this thinking to myself, there's going to be some bickering between both teams. I don't think Drew and Damian are going to coexist. I don't think Cody and Seth are going to coexist, because they're going to be bitching about, where's your partner? Where's our partner? And Priest is going to be like, no, I'm the leader, blah, 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 this and the third. I'll tell you when to go. And watching the match forward, when we get to the tease of the cash in and all that stuff, I'm like, oh, well, okay, this is the move, huh? And then Randy Orton's theme plays, and I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? And then the minute War Games commenced, it finally dawned on me that I came to the realization once everything started to happen in this match. And that was this. This match sucked. This match sucked
I didn't think
ass,
it
bro.
sucked.
I mean, besides the fucking, look, there wasn't really a lot of crazy spots like, oh, JD McDonald Google me gets thrown off the top turnbuckle into an arc. Get the fuck out of here. That is so goddamn hokey. I would have just been like, yo, just have him fucking fall off the top of the cage onto a table of something instead of that lazy ass RKO. I'm like, yeah, cool. We get to see the RKO again because we didn't see it in like almost 2 fucking years, and this man is yoked as fuck. But this match fucking sucked. This match fucking sucked. Like, there was nothing here that implicated an absolute war. They just did it because Cody needed to finish his fucking story with the Judgment Day, and he needed to bring his super friends along with him. Jey Uso did his shit. Seth Rollins, go the fuck away, please. Go the fuck away. Like, I'm
he ain't
hoping,
going away.
I know, but I'm hoping that after Mania 40, he go the fuck away. Like, for real. Like, go away for 2 fucking years. Go heal up. Go be a fucking dad. But for real, my mans, I'm tired of this shit. I'm really tired of this shit.
You tired of the Joker?
I've been tired of it since, WrestleMania. No, actually, I'm gonna be buck. I was tired of it since he won the world title because he never should have won the world title. That should have went to AJ. But then again, was AJ gonna go to fucking Raw after he just went to SmackDown again?
Yeah, I'm on freaking SmackDown. Not that that matters, but I'm here.
I don't hate Seth Rollins, but at this point, you've been on TV since your injury in 2015. My nigga, go the fuck away. Go away. I can't miss you if you're on TV every fucking week. Like, go home, my nigga. That's it. After Mania 40, go the fuck home. If it's gonna be the match that we're all speculating, go the fuck home. This match was. This was some. I'm not gonna say this was your typical WCW War Games type bullshit in the late 90s.
Definitely was not.
It was not, but this was a lackluster. This was one of those that felt pretty flat to me, and I really wish we would have gotten more out of it, like actually getting the feeling of going to war, because these both of these teams didn't even look like they were ready for war. They were still in their actual gear. I'm like, hello, this is War Games. You guys don't have war pain or anything like that. Like, make it implicate that you guys are gonna go to war. What the fuck? This is stupid. I'm giving. Oh my god. Mid. It's a fucking bad. This was bad match. This was bad. The women's was better than this. Way more better than this. So after a mediocre War Games and what could somewhat be a mediocre premium live event, the mediocrity ended with a shocking twist. Paul Levesque giving us his classic NXT fake out credits, like, oh, here's the credits, bye everyone, it's over, sight. Holy fucking shit. We end the show completely with CM Punk making his return to the WWE after 9.5 years away from professional wrestling. I'm not talking about the AEW stuff, just overall, just being away from WWE for 9.5 years. he finally makes his grand return in his hometown in the All-State Arena. The entire arena came unglued, and everybody went home happy. DJ, let's bring this one home.
So, yeah, like I said, he wasn't gonna show up just because I figured, there's he's got heat there. Fucking, um, they're probably not in the business of paying people big contracts, and there was all these different factors I had in my mind that thought that would prevent him from being there. But I always thought
Oh,
there was a
I heard,
possibility.
I did hear something about contracts, so I'll tell you in a minute when
But the funny thing about that is I also heard Meltzer was talking about how Endeavor actually isn't going to be that stingy on money with the WWE contracts, and they're going to
Well,
let them
that too.
spend.
The
Be,
only reason why that's brought up is because Endeavor didn't even know about the signing at all.
no, they didn't. But my point in this is Dave was talking about it. He said that they're going to let WWE slide partially because WWE's actually not paying. It's the classic thing of pro wrestlers are grossly underpaid, because they brought up a comparison point in UFC fighters get paid like 17% of the gates or whatever of the money that UFC makes. The fighters do, and WWE their wrestlers obviously get paid way less than 17%, because that would mean like a mid carder gets paid like $2 million per year. $2 million in WWE is top guy money. So since wrestlers are so grossly underpaid, the scale in that is such that they can spend theoretically a lot more money in acquiring a wrestler, and it doesn't really hurt the bottom line. So that's why they've got a little bit more of a rope than we would have thought being under Endeavor, which means WWE can play really aggressive with
Exactly.
their money in the coming years, which is it's good for them. Not so much so for the rest of the industry. But yeah, CM Punk, I thought there were all these reasons he wouldn't come back, but always thought it's a possibility because wrestling is wrestling, and boom, here he is. Surprised me for sure. Surprised all of us. He's back, and I was saying it before we went on air. So, and I guess I'll say it now as my general thought on it. Like, there's nothing like pro wrestling. Uh, just that in itself. Like, there's a picture of CM Punk and Triple H doing
Yeah.
the point to each other on Twitter. Like, and Triple H is like, hell froze over or whatever. And it's like,
It is. It's
you
basically
my point
Vince
is
McMahon.
you never
All
could have
right.
thought something like that could have happened given everything that happened over the past 10 years between the parties involved. But it happened because this is a crazy business where anything could happen. And I gotta say, part of that is because, if if you are a WWE fan who wanted CM Punk back, who for years went to shows, chanted for him, fantasized, dreamt about this moment, you gotta low key thank it. Not even low key. You gotta thank AEW for this. They brought him back to wrestling. He wasn't gonna come back. You can argue the point that maybe he would have come back eventually at some point under different circumstances, but it was AEW that in 2021 got him to come back to wrestling, got him back in the game, really working again, and put him in a position to where he could, instead of, his last match being 7 years ago, whenever CM Punk has his next match, his last match was 2 months ago, 3 months ago at Wembley.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
CM Punk is an active pro wrestler again because of AEW. And you get that in WWE now because of the fact that AEW came along and made this a more healthy industry. And that is the benefit of having an AEW and having a strong industry. That things like this can happen, that people can make these jumps, and it's an exciting time. Like, this is a lot like the late 90s in that big names are going to places that we thought we might never see them again because shit, the money right. rent is due on the first. You know what I'm saying? You could have all
Exactly.
these supposed principles that you stand on and you speak on when it comes to the business of pro wrestling, but at the end of the day, rent is due on the first. So I understand if even if CM Punk was talking shit about the company last year, you gonna take that check. So, um, me personally, like I said last night, I don't really have an interest in seeing what he's gonna do in WWE just because I'm generally not interested in the product. Like I'm interested in seeing him wrestle Cody potentially, just because, like I've said before, I think that could be really interesting. But other than that, it's whatever. But like obviously there's no denying it. It's an exciting time. This is a big deal. He's a huge draw. He's one of the biggest stars in the industry. And he's coming back at a time where WWE itself is as hot as they've been in years. Like it's pouring gas on fire. So you can't deny that. So
Yeah.
obviously there's no one like CM Punk. He had the two biggest returns of the year possibly in two different companies. Like popped up in
Exactly.
AEW in the United Center, popped up in WWE at the Allstate Arena. Like CM Punk is that guy. You can't take that away from him. No matter you can say whatever else you want about him, and people certainly will. But when it comes to generating buzz in pro wrestling, that's why he came out there last night because WWE understands that. They understand that he is a genuine megastar in this business, and we don't have too many of those. So you go for it.
Again, just talking about the picture between Hunter and Punk, it is true that hell has definitely frozen over. It was one of those where we were kids watching Monday Night Raw, and Vince McMahon announces Eric Bischoff as the Raw GM, and here they are hugging in the middle of the ring when these two were wishing death on each other on opposite companies years ago.
Yeah.
Again, it's this. I don't want to be that guy that was like I was right the whole time. I was fucking right because there's a few reasons why I knew that this was gonna happen. Because one, mainly, not to shit on everyone, I watch the fucking product.
That's
I
true.
watch this shit every week. I see the Easter eggs. Like, yeah, the whole thing with him and Nakamura was debunked of them having the rivalry. That's why I was saying earlier yesterday when we were doing the stream, there might be an impromptu match taking place because Nakamura has been calling out this random opponent that he's been targeting for a while. And Nakamura didn't even know about Punk making his return to WWE. So we could debunk that. But I only went by Nakamura doing the GTS on Ricochet. That gave me those tidbits. I think Triple H just told him to do it just to do it. But I don't think Nakamura knew that Punk was making his way back. I don't think anybody knew. I don't think nobody in the back knew. I think the only people that knew about Punk making his return were the people that signed him. That was Triple H and that was Nick Khan. That was it. Nobody else. That's why you saw all those videos, even with all the guys still outside the WarGames, like Seth Rollins doing his little work shoot, fucking getting angry and stuff. Because remember the 2K conference that he called Phil a cancer, stay away, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, you said that before. It may have been a work shoot, but guess what, motherfucker? That's going to come back to bite you. You know, um, it's it's a huge move. It's a money move. You got to understand that wrestling is a money move. It's a very manipulative. It's a very, very, very lying business, and it has its ways. It gets away with a lot of shit. This is why, like, they try to keep shit like this hush hush because they don't want shit like that breaking out on the internet. That's why when people were saying, "Oh, the rumors of CM Punk in talks with WWE were going down," like, yeah, nobody was talking about it, but people still knew. Again, with Punk back in the company now, there are a few things that are probably going to be different. I think Triple H said it in the press conference. If he's still the same person that he was 10 years ago, then he messed up. But here's the thing, money wise, is going to grow for WWE. Merchandise, ticket sales, premium live event, stream, yearly quarter events, live events, house shows are going to sell out nonstop because Punk coming back. Punk is going to be the biggest needle mover next to Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins is irrelevant in this topic because he's not fucking moving shit. He's not moving the needle, not gaining ratings. He's not 2018 Seth Rollins anymore. He's dickhead Rollins. All right?
Not dickhead Rollins.
Are people going to get upset with Triple H doing this? Are they going to distrust Triple H? No, because guess what? Even with all the money that Punk is going to be making, everybody wins because everybody in the company is going to be making money. Everybody, the boys, the girls, they're all going to make money off of this. So why bitch and moan and complain about CM Punk making his return after he tarnished the company and talked shit about it? Newsflash. Everyone did the same thing and they all got their fucking Hall of Fame rings and they still got their fucking second chance in the company. So I don't see the fucking difference. Why? Because
really is none.
Why? Because one guy spoke the truth and he was literally on the verge of death. So what? Let him speak his mind. The man dealt with a lawsuit for 5 years with this company. And he still came back.
Think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. People, because of all the things that were said and done, people had this expectation that, especially because, like I said, you're talking shit about the company as recently as last year. So they would expect that he would not even want to go over there. But again, like, I think people are realizing now that CM Punk is not the voice of the voiceless. He's not this, outspoken catalyst for change or whatever. He's a pro wrestler. He's a pro wrestler. Exactly. So he's gonna make that money and he's gonna do what benefits him in the end. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's his life, and he should be able to do with it what he chooses to do, what he wants to do.
And number 3 being the main and important one, WWE is not like AEW. If anything was to happen under their watch, if Punk was to do something, WWE ain't gonna let that shit happen. WWE ain't gonna let anybody go into Punk's door and start a fucking fight.
Well, I mean, I ain't gonna say all that, but what I will say is
they're gonna be more professional with.
I'm not gonna say more professional because it's WWE, but they'll. He's not gonna if he gets into a fight, he's fucked. That's for sure. Yeah. That's definitely true. But
WWE is more manageable since they've been around longer. They know how to, treat their stars, be around their talent. They know if there's something going on, they're gonna, squash that shit immediately. That's why there's a wrestlers court. I don't think AEW has a wrestlers
environment
court.
At all. Like I'm not gonna say like CM Punk ain't gonna pull in WWE because like he did when he was there before. He did. He complained about shit. He got mad at people. All that. The only thing he didn't do was fight people. That was the only thing he didn't do when he was there before.
And this is years later now.
Yeah. So like. But yes, because of the fact that, and also there's also the fact that they know he can't just go back to the other place because the other place fired him. So they know, all right, well, he can't fuck up here because we're the last option, basically, unless he wants to go to TNA. But
yeah, if you wanna fucking help Billy Corgan and all that shit, by all means, do you. But this is your fucking one opportunity.
This is it. Like this is basically it.
Like, again, when you came back in AEW, we kept telling ourselves we got all this time for him to do all of this shit, and took 2 years.
2 years. And
2 fucking years. And he's gone. This cannot happen in WWE. And I know WWE is going to manage that shit very well. They're going to make sure that none of these incidents take place behind the scenes or outside the arenas. If they got to separate Punk from certain people, fine. But don't make it seem like how Tony Khan did it. Give this man his own show and let him have the people that he... No, none of that shit. None of that shit. He's in WWE right now. This is now going to be the biggest
that's actually exactly what I can see WWE doing with him.
But it's not going to happen because you're not going to give Punk exactly what he wants. This is WWE. This is not... I'm not going to say, this is not AEW where they're just going to give you everything your heart's desire.
No, not exactly what he wants, but I mean, like, in terms of, like, keeping him around his own people, and he ain't got to fucking deal with whoever he might not like. Like they'll definitely do that. I see him doing that.
We're gonna be getting a lot of more interesting. Like, dude, I'm still contemplating whether or not I should go live tomorrow for Raw because he's gonna be on Raw, and this is when I'm gonna be gone. The one time that I'm gonna be gone, he now wants to fucking show up and be on Raw. This now just I'm gonna think it through. If I don't go live, I don't go live, but I'm still gonna put it up unless Six wants to go live and you join him. I don't care, but it's whether or not I'm gonna do it. I don't know what's gonna be happening with Punk, but I know for a fact we are going to get Rollins versus Punk at Mania. I do feel like now, for the time being, tomorrow night we have to. Because I know you're not gonna watch it. I have to see what he's going to say. Because once it hits 8 o'clock, guess who's opening up the show? We're not waiting for the third hour for CM Punk. Absolutely not. You're not going to make us wait. You're not going to torture
It's either
us.
going to be him or Seth or whatever.
No, it's because they made the announcement that Randy Orton and CM Punk will be at Nashville for Raw. SmackDown's going to be in Brooklyn this Friday. So you have to open the show with CM Punk. You have to. You can't do anything other than that. You do that. You make us wait 3 hours. This show just might go to shit until we have to wait for him to talk. And you're not gonna make us sit there for 3 hours. People could be watching football and then wait for Punk to show up.
That's probably what they're gonna do. But yeah, he'll be able to talk. James says, I don't think him going to WWE ruins AEW. They're fine. Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. They'll never be, like you said, they'll never be as popular as WWE, but they will definitely survive. I think that's
no, they're gonna survive. They got a long way ahead of them to be on WWE's level. AEW is still in the process of learning how the company is growing within its 5 years of existence. WWE has already outgrown that.
Like I will say this about the AEW element of it. Does it hurt AEW perception wise?
No.
Sure, a little bit. A little bit it does. Yes.
No, it doesn't. No,
because I'm only saying it hurts them a little bit because yes, obviously the perception of a top star going to this other place, even though yes, we know he got fired, but him going to the other place when the other place is hot right now, it does hurt AEW a little bit, especially because a lot of his fan base are fucking delusional people who think that it's fucking, everybody's fault but his. But yeah, it does hurt a little bit perception wise, just like Cody hurt a little bit perception wise. But overall, AEW is going to be fine because they have a core fan base that watches for things other than CM Punk. Like CM Punk was a reason they watch, but there's other things. Like AEW fans watch for Orange Cassidy or John Moxley or Kenny Omega or like there's plenty of other things in AEW that keep an AEW fan coming back. It was never just one guy.
Yeah. Like how AEW started, it wasn't just to build the elite fan base, it was to grow other wrestlers' fan base and to get them popular. Just like the same with WWE. It's not just depending on one guy. Like, you think they're still depending on Roman Reigns today? I don't think so. They're just letting him do him until it's time for him to lose the belt.
Not for nothing, that's part of why WWE has improved in recent years, because they don't just rely solely on one guy anymore. Like they have a couple of other guys that are also over. Like it's good to have multiple people ready for top positions and have them, as linchpins to keep people coming back. So I mean, as far as AEW goes in terms of CM Punk, like I said earlier, this should just be further confirmation on the fact that chapter is over. Like,
yeah,
we had CM Punk for 2 years. He did some great stuff. Did some bad stuff backstage, but it's over now. We got to close that chapter. We got to move on with what we have and continue on with what we have. Just like WWE is going to continue on with what they have. So
all it took was Luke Perry's son for him to actually jump ship, huh?
Yep, Luke Perry's son.
Let me just say this right now. Like I get sick and tired of this whole tribalistic bullshit. Like, oh, fucking CM Punk's a traitor, Jay's a traitor, Cody's a traitor. Let me ask you guys a question. Did it hurt AEW when Cody Rhodes decided to leave and go back to WWE? Absolutely not.
They were
Did it
fine.
hurt when Jade left? Absolutely not.
Fine.
Is it hurting AEW that CM Punk is in WWE? Absolutely not, because AEW would have said something on the internet about this happening, and they haven't said a fucking thing. And I think they need to keep it that fucking way and focus on their own shit. You got a tournament going on right now.
There's
Focus
nothing to
on that.
say. Yeah, there's nothing to say.
There's not there. It's not even just nothing to say. They shouldn't just be saying nothing. Tony Khan shouldn't be saying a fucking thing at all. He should be focusing on his shit now. You had your chance with him. He fucked up.
Good luck to him.
You
That's it.
fucked up.
The next
The
time
Elite
Tony Khan is
fucked up.
asked about CM Punk, because he's gonna get asked about CM Punk eventually, he'll just be like, he should
No
just
comment.
say, "Good luck to him." That's it.
Good luck to him and no comment. But at the end of the day, it's just when it was in AEW, Punk fucked up, Tony fucked up, the Elite and Hangman fucked up, Luke and Jack Perry fucked up.
Mistakes were made. That's all you can say.
Mistakes
Errors
were
were made.
Errors were definitely made throughout his 2-year period in AEW, which honestly, it sucked. But now he's back in WWE. Don't sit there and call this man a traitor, because you're gonna fucking watch the product whether you like it or not. You're gonna watch the product when Jay's on it, whether you like it or not. You watch it when Cody's on it, whether you like it or not. At the end of the day, like I've been saying from the very beginning, this is a business of manipulation. This is a business of making money. Everyone is going to jump ship, because guess what? Rent comes on the first of the month, bitches.
That's the fact. Rent is due on the first of the month every month. So no matter what these other wrestlers be out here talking about or portraying themselves to be, just remember that rent is always due on the first. Remember that.
Final grade for WarGames match of the night, and then we'll bring it home from here.
This shit is a B minus, I say. Yeah, I thought this was a fine little show. Nothing super stand out. Nothing super crazy, but nothing terrible. And obviously, when you end it with the two big returns, Randy Orton, CM Punk, like that's something that'll have the crowd going away hype. Like for me, like I've been saying this for a while now, but the WWE pay per views have become very easily digestible in that they're about 2.5 to
Yes.
3 hours of decent to good wrestling. And sometimes you get a big moment like this, like the vibes are a lot better because they're doing either big buildings or packed houses. The crowds get up for the big stuff. Like WWE events, their big events feel good and digestible right now. So yeah, B minus.
The show is going to get a C minus.
Ooh,
No, actually, no. I'm just going to give it a solid good.
okay.
Women's match was best match on the card. Best match ever. Everything else was, why did it have to be on the card? Like, the show sucked until the very end, which is why it's getting a good. I would have just given this shit a 2.5, which is a D plus, which is still passable. But if it's the big return of CM Punk after 9.5 years of being away from WWE, the grade goes up a notch because it's a big return. And let's not forget that we didn't even talk about this, the return of R-Truth.
Facts. That's the true return of the night. R-Truth.
Last time we saw R-Truth, well, technically last time I saw R-Truth, he got injured in a match at NXT against Grayson Waller after he did a tope con Io. And he landed wrong on his fucking knee. He tweaked that shit. So I had to watch the gory details of that. But yeah, it was nice to see him back. I mean, Randy Orton looking yoked as fuck. Oh my god, man. He gonna be having a lot of men looking at him now. Woo! More baby oil for that man too. Shit, he was like all the fuck up when he made his return. I'm like,
motherfucker.
yeah, you were really trying to show off the muscles, huh? Because your wife was like right in the front row too. everything besides the women's WarGames match just sucked. It fucking sucked. It
Damn.
sucked. It sucked. It bored me. It really bored me. They did their best. Again, this is one of those where, like, here's your participation award. You did good, but not really good. That's why it's getting a good, because, you know, again, I don't want to be like, I hate that I'm right. I hate that I'm right. That he made his return and he's back. He's back. That's why I had the shirt locked and loaded and ready to go for when that happened. And that was basically, that's the way you send people home happy. The return of their hometown boy in World Wrestling Entertainment. Show gets a good women's WarGames match, stole the show. But like I said, I'm gonna be going throughout the end of this month, going into all of December. I will not be back full time for the weekly stuff until January 8th, but you will see me for come Tuesday or come weekly TV, maybe some gaming streams after they're done with Collision, more pay-per-views like Final Battle and World's End coming up, along with Wrestle Kingdom. And yeah, January 8th, I will be making my return, but it looks like there's been enough talk for it is time for us to bring it home. It is 1 a.m. Great one. Why don't you tell all the Ramblemaniacs and BC aliens where to find us?
Before I do, James asks, should AEW sign David Benoit?
No.
Eh.
No, because again, the name, the family lineage, and the history of that, it's a dark past. At this point, if you want David Benoit as a part of wrestling, just have him as like a fucking backstage correspondent or a manager. Don't have him.
If you
wrestle.
want it, like if he genuinely learns to wrestle or whatever and wants to wrestle, call him Pegasus Kid.
That too. Well, you know, call him Pegasus Jr. Wild Pegasus Jr.
Something like that. Something like that.
That too.
But yeah, that's my take on it. But yeah,
I'm not sure if anyone asked this, but do you guys? Oh yeah, okay, never mind.
But yeah, you already know where to find us. Otherwise, find us on Instagram at Ramblemania Show and on Twitter at Ramblemania. It's up there. Find us on Facebook at Ramblemania Show. Also find our group there, Ramblemania Show's Banter Club, where any of the wrestlers, podcasters, everybody we associate with, plus all that goings on and all that's going down. As far as audio goes, wherever audio is found, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, everywhere the podcasts are found, search Ramblemania Show or Banter Club. As far as visuals, twitch.tv/Ramblemania Show. We're on Spotify video. We're on YouTube. Search Ramblemania Show or Banter Club. When you get here, like the videos, click subscribe, click the bell, so that when new content drops, it goes straight to you. Yeah. As for me personally, find me on Instagram at TJ the Great One. That's TJ the GR, the number 8, the number 1. Find me on Twitter at TJ the Great. That's TJ the GR, the number 8. It's as simple as that.
TJ the Great too. TJ the Great. And it's starting. This fucking jackass that I want to go away is already talking shit on a house show. The story is starting, bro.
Telling you. That's why I said he ain't going nowhere.
No, I know he's not going nowhere. That's what I'm saying. After Mania 40, my nigga, go the fuck away. Go be a father, my nigga. Shit. Follow me on Instagram at iZombies, IZOMBIES. For TJ the Great, I'm Hazel the iZombie. This has been our AEW Full Gear / WWE WarGames Survivor Series 2023 recaps. We would like to wish all of you out there 8-point goodies. You're too fucking sweet.
You already know, backhand that and a good fight and a good night.
I'm going to end it on a good note. You won't see me till January 8th, so for now,
go fuck yourself.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay? No more. Where the fuck are your parents? Who are your parents? I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to